welcome to another episode of the playonultra podcast. This is episode 98.
Yes, it is. Woo!
The number almost went out of my head.
Numbers come and go like that.
Hello. As usual, it's the three of us, Pupunoob, Sarah, Foehamner. But also, as usual, in the past few weeks at least, we have a guest.
Yay,
Say hello
yes.
to Zero Budget Geek,
Hi.
aka Eddie. How are you doing?
Good.
Zero,
How's everybody?
Zero or Eddie? Zero, I mean,
Eddie's
super
fine.
cool.
No, Eddie. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hi, Eddie.
So, what do you do, Eddie? On YouTube, what kind of stuff do you make?
I do a variety of stuff. Mostly lately has been Let's Plays, but my channel has what I call the sort of three pillars. Basically, one of the pillars is video game Let's Play, so just anything having to do with video games, and then I have the board game side of things where I do videos of board games. So they're kind of Let's Plays of board games where I play through different board games. Sometimes I do Kickstarter previews. Don't really do reviews, but do previews, and then sometimes I do some how to play of board games. And then the third pillar, which kind of falls in the realm of video games, is I do a Friday Night Magic Duels where I just do a single video about the Magic Duels card game. And for whatever reason, that seems to be pretty popular. I mean, Magic is pretty popular, but most YouTubers that do videos of that game are like these high level players that are like they win tournaments, and you got this guy, me, that I'm just like very average. I'm just playing and I'm just having fun, but people like it, and I think part of it is because I think they can relate, and that's my mantra, is that you don't have to be a high level player to enjoy competitive video games, and
You just gotta be rich
in general.
No,
Not even just play and have fun. Well, that's the great thing about the Magic Duels, is that you don't actually have to spend you don't
You're talking about the
you can
digital
play for
version,
free.
right?
Yeah, you can play for free, and you can actually earn everything in game for free. Of course, they make it hard, but
Right.
but the amount that you would spend on that game, even if you spent all the money to unlock everything, it's still much cheaper than like paper Magic. So anyway, that's what I do. I do sort of
Paper
three different types of content on my channel.
I'd say paper Magic, when I was into it, was probably, like, not counting tournament entry fees, at least like $1,000 a year probably.
Oh yeah.
If you want to keep up to date on, the best cards and stuff like that, I pretty much very rarely, like, I'll play every once in a while. I play mostly Commander, to be honest, because
Commander's
it's the
the
type
best.
Yeah, well, it's the type that, like, in my opinion, it's the easiest type for me for deck building, and you have a wider variety of cards, and you don't have to, like, worry about your mana curve or how competitive it is, because it's just you can kind of play more flavorful, and so, I have gotten into some of the new settings and stuff like that, but otherwise, like, yeah, it's expensive. It's an expensive hobby, paper version, so digital's kind of a better way to go if you haven't spent too much money on the paper version.
Yeah. Well, and the newest digital version does something kind of unique that I actually didn't expect. There is a finite amount of cards that you can get in the game. So once you collect all the cards in a set, you don't have to keep purchasing, like unlike in Hearthstone. So like in Hearthstone, you can get 30 copies of the same card, and then you convert them into dust or whatever, and you got to keep buying more if you want to complete a set. In Magic Duels, once you get 4 copies of a card, that card will never appear in a booster pack from then on.
That's awesome.
That's really nice.
So you basically, if you spend enough, like I think in a given set, it's somewhere about like you probably spend about $50 or so, and you'll pretty much unlock everything. If you just want to just spend money and unlock everything, and then that's it. You don't have to worry about it until the next set comes out. And then as you're playing, you're gonna earn in-game currency, so that offsets any monetary amounts that you're gonna spend out of pocket. So it's a pretty cool system.
That's good.
Nice. So, what did you guys do? Oh, I guess I should start because I did something pretty big. I bought a PS4.
You did.
I did. So
Goodness.
it is it's called the Hits bundle, and I'm pretty sure it's only in Asia. I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure because I've only seen the Sony Asia branch advertising this. So it's the PS4 Slim 500 gigs, which I thought was enough, but I don't think so anymore. It comes with Drive Club, a game I don't give a shit about. Horizon Zero Dawn, a game I give a lot of shit about.
Yeah.
And Ratchet and Clank, the game I give all my shit about. Ratchet and fucking Clank, the new one.
That's awesome.
Oh,
So
man.
the only thing that sucks is the games don't come in their separate cases. It's like one case. The Ratchet and Clank is a digital one, and Horizon and Drive Club is like there's like 2 discs inside. I mean, I'm just complaining for no good reason, really. But
I get it, though.
Well, it's funny, like for me, like 10-15 years ago, if you would have told me that pretty much my entire video game collection would be just digital and no physical copies, I think you're crazy. But now it's like pretty much all the video games I own, they're just on Steam and it's just all digital copies.
It took me longer than I thought to set that shit up. Why is the download speeds so slow?
They're bad.
It's not even
they're-
getting like 10% of what I'm paying my ISP for. My Steam
Yeah.
downloads like 50 gigabyte games within a few hours. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
The sad part is I think the PS4 is still faster than the PS3 because I remember the PS3.
No, the
some of
PS3
their
was
download speeds.
bad.
Oh my gosh! Like PS4 is
I can
like high-speed
I
internet
can barely
compared
play online. PS3 was shit. The PS4 is not that bad. It's a shinier turd,
to it,
basically.
pretty much for its
So
speeding,
slow.
For speed, yeah.
But and what is the point of installing the entire goddamn game and still needing a disc to play it? Son of a
Yeah.
I don't know.
Horizon is taking up
DRM.
40 gigabytes.
DRM.
It's pretty big.
That doesn't make sense though. You can buy Horizon digitally, which means you have to install
That's the only thing
entire
I can
game
think
anyways.
about. Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna be buying mostly physical anyways,
Yeah.
except for maybe PS2 classics or something.
The only reason I have, or at least for me, to buy physical copies anymore is for games that I don't think are gonna come out anywhere else, like exclusives. PlayStation is the big culprit. They've got so many exclusives, and kind of the only way to get them is for that system. So buy that system and buy the games. But then also like just some games like the Kingdom Hearts series can be kind of hard to get, so it's kind of worth buying like the physical copies of those.
Only thing
Okay,
is
but
like
keep-
I just wanted to increase the shelf life of the discs itself. Like you use it less and it stays alive much longer, right? As well as the disc reader. I'm just like, I have to spend so much time installing this damn thing, and I still have to put the disc in there.
Right.
But Sarah, have you played Horizon Zero Dawn?
I have not.
Holy
I
shit,
don't
that
have it.
is a good game.
I've heard it's really good. A lot of my friends are really into it.
I
just
can
haven't played it
totally
myself.
understand why it's like people's early Game of the Year contender.
Yeah.
If I only played like maybe 15 hours ish, maybe about that. It's already a 10 out of 10 for me.
Way better than crap Zelda, right?
Yep, way better than crap Zelda. 7 out of 10. Overpriced shit. So yeah.
Oh, harsh.
Oh, sorry,
Oh,
sorry,
harsh.
Nintendo
A lot
fans.
of people love it.
I am just joking.
They're
It's
both
just a
good.
reference to
I know.
Jim Sterling's review of 7 out of 10.
I mean, I feel I definitely am left out because I haven't picked up any new consoles. So
It took
most
me
of
so
my
long to
gaming
get
has
my
been
PS4.
PC.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's on the agenda for probably not this year, but maybe next year. I'll probably pick
Which one,
pick
the
up
Switch?
a PS. I'm probably gonna go with PS4.
Okay.
Maybe eventually a Switch. Is this?
Gotta wait for those
there's-
exclusives to come out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Nintendo systems, I pretty much only get them for maybe 3 games. I get it for Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, and the latest Zelda game. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I get
Two of those are out already. So
Yeah. So,
And Splatoon is coming out soon too.
but the thing is also I usually get a console right after the next generation comes out. So when PlayStation 4 first came out, that's when I first bought a PlayStation 3. and then I bought a PlayStation 3, and then I got like the 10 of the top games for that for like $100 or something like that. And
Nice.
so
Oh, wow.
I'm a cheap patient gamer.
If you're a patient gamer, it's fine. If you don't need to
it's-
play the thing, I need a new thing right now.
it's
So now that the Switch came out, that is probably when I'm gonna get a Wii U.
Wii U.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. You might want to just skip the Wii U. Just save yourself some money.
Has some good
Well,
games though.
right now
some good
it
games.
has this. It has Smash Brothers, and Smash Brothers is the number one game for me on any Nintendo console. So,
Okay.
so until they port it to the Switch, which I don't know if they're gonna do that or not. I'd be very interested in seeing that. I'm sure the competitive community around that would be very, very interested in that, and I think it'd be like the perfect game for the Switch to be able to play that, at home and then also on the go. I think would be really fantastic.
They're gonna make some kind of Smash game for the Switch. If they don't port it, they're gonna make a new one. I mean, guaranteed. There's no way. I felt in some ways when the Switch first was announced, in my opinion, I was like, well, this is meant for Smash. Like they were trying. I don't know, like the way it was just designed and stuff. I'm not saying it's a perfect design, but just some of the key elements of the design of Switch, in my opinion, was like, well, this is meant for Smash in some ways. So I would be very surprised if they didn't put all their money into making some kind of new flashy Smash game.
I feel like
the
whenever
thing-
Nintendo launches a new system, it should have Smash as one of its launch titles.
Yeah,
Or at least
on a date.
Yeah.
The one thing that gives me some pause there is that, and I can't remember his name right now, but the main designer of Smash Brothers has said for a long time that the Wii U version of Smash is the final one. It is the ultimate one.
heard
Yeah,
that.
they said that is their ultimate one. They're putting their all into it, and that is meant to be the last one. I kind of don't believe it because it's
They
such a
could do like a
successful
deluxe
franchise.
version of the Wii U and re-release it for the
Remastered.
Switch.
That would be a great idea, like they
Like
did
what
with
they
the
did with
Mario
the Mario
Kart.
Kart. Yeah.
Yeah, I
that'd
could see that.
That would make
I could see
sense.
that would make sense. But yeah, they
if the Switch today with Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and let's say Super Smash Wii U Deluxe or whatever on the Switch, will you buy that? Will you buy that now?
absolutely.
All right.
The only thing keeping me from the Switch right now is that Smash is not on it because Zelda is on it and Mario Kart's on it, waiting
True.
for Smash. So,
Wait for Smash.
but of course, I still want a PS4 because I want to play Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh
So
man, seriously, go and get it.
I tell you, the
Sarah,
one game
you have to play this game.
I tell you what, the
Okay,
one
I'll
game that
try,
has been
okay, there's too many games.
Just
The
ask
one
your
game
brother
that
to
has
get
been
it.
tiding me over.
Okay.
The one game that has been tiding me over, that has been filling the void that I'm feeling out of not being able to play Horizon Zero Dawn, has been Nier Automata. I don't know if any of you guys have had a chance to play that, but
haven't played it.
Not
that's-
yet.
That's another good one.
Been wanting to, but
I've been
I think
pissed
it's
off about it for a
I
few months
think
now.
it's just shy. I think it's just shy of Game of the Year. I know some people say Game of the Year. Like, I don't think it's quite there, but I think it's definitely one of the most unique experiences. Like, I haven't even finished it yet, but it is so unique, and it definitely has. I feel okay saying right now that it probably has the best soundtrack of the year. Yeah, like, I've been listening to it in my car on the way to work like every day. It's so
And
good.
that I've been talking about the first game for so long,
yep.
and then those fuckers. Fuck them. I'm not gonna talk about them anymore.
The first game had an
I'll
incredible
probably
soundtrack
get it
as
for
well.
the PS4 because the PC version apparently is still a lot of people still having problems with it.
Oh, that's too bad.
On the higher end of things.
On the higher
I think people trying to play it on 4K and those really high resolutions are
Even
I
on
think they're running
1080p. The unofficial fix is actually for 1080p, and there's like stuttering and some crashes.
I was
Well-
just listening to some Let's Player who said he was running so fast he actually outran the draw rate of the world and fell through the floor.
I could see that happening. I mean, I've been playing it on with max settings 1080p and have been pretty much just fine. The only times
Are
I've
you
had
using
issue
Nvidia?
Yeah.
Yeah, AMD has problems. I use AMD.
Oh, that's
Poor AMD.
probably it.
Poor
Yeah.
AMD.
So the thing is, it's a $60 game, and buying it and not knowing whether it will work or not because there's no fucking demo, even though there's a demo for PS4. So yeah, I'll probably try the demo on the PS4. I'll probably buy it
Yeah.
on the PS4. Yeah.
I should.
Oh, I mean,
actually.
I think have you seen the demo? Have you watched any of it? Like the Let's Plays of that?
I do not want to spoil it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I am one of the huge fans of the first game, and I've been wanting the sequel for so long, and I'm not gonna spoil it. So
Yeah, I think the demo, if you're at all interested in the game, I think the demo will sell you on it. I think they did a great job with the demo.
Oh, I did see Let's Play the demo. Actually, you're right. So that was cool.
I'm pretty sure someone spoiled Horizon Zero Dawn for me
Oh.
because I was on Reddit and
They're
Reddit.
all robots.
Yeah.
What can I do?
and I was in our movies thread talking about a specific movie, I cannot remember what, and then one of the comments that, oh, Horizon Zero Dawn also did it this way, pretty cool. I'm like, wait, is that what it's about? Son of a... It's a game that came out February 28th, so I think you have to wait a minimum of 6 months before talking about it. I think that should be the rule.
Could be. Although
automatic
I'm
permaban if you...
I tell you what, I've been very surprised at now it hasn't been that long, but the fan base of Nier Automata has, to my knowledge, hasn't really spoiled anything, or at least they've been very careful about saying hey, this what I'm about to talk about has spoilers, because apparently there is some just big revelations in this game that you don't want to spoil, because it's just, you gotta experience it for yourself. And I've experienced some of them, but I'm only I think I may still only be like 40% through the game, if that, and I've been playing it for like the last couple months. It's taking me that long because of recording.
I guess, quote unquote, spoil, but not really, is the fact that it has multiple endings and that you need to play through all of them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because
I think
Yoko Taro is pretty infamous for having multiple endings. Like even Nier, which is a spiritual successor. No, not really a spiritual. Nier is the continuation of the story of Dragon God's fifth ending. Like very specifically, the fifth ending of Dragon God 1.
Yep.
Or something like that. Yeah, Dragon God 2 is.
I forget which one it is, but
is
it? Now the funny thing is I believe that someone played the game, a reviewer played the game, got to the first ending and didn't sit through the credits, and then just wrote their review, and Square Enix went and put a bit in there that when you get through the credits, it says, hey, it's not over, play some more, you're gonna get more of the story, more things happen, and so they put it like pretty big. So it's not really a spoiler, because the company has gone out of their way to kind of make sure that people know
about it. Yeah. So let me ask you this: like, obviously Yoko Taro had a creative vision of wanting to do like multiple endings, and you have to sit through the first credit, blah blah blah. Do you feel like the experience was reduced because of that like warning thing by Square?
No, I'm glad it was there, because I would hate to have played the game and not known that, especially because the way, and there's no spoiler here, but the way your first playthrough ends, you're still left with a lot of questions, and in a way the ending kind of comes abruptly, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Here's one of the things that kept going through my mind as I was playing Nier, and there's been a couple games this year so far with it, but Nier in particular, as I've been playing it, I kept saying in my mind to myself, God, I don't want the game to end. Like, I'm doing these missions, and I'm like, okay, I'm knocking out quest after quest after quest, and then I'm like, I'm doing all these quests, but I don't want the game to end. I'm having so much fun, But then I remember, man, I'm still in my first playthrough, and there's gonna be more. And when you do the other playthroughs, they're not just New Game Plus. They're like New Game Plus plus plus, because it is really a whole new experience. It's not just playing through the game and then you get a couple tidbits. It is just almost totally a new experience. So that's really awesome there. Without spoilers.
do you guys think it's fair for the reviewer to review the game straight away after the first credits?
Nah, I mean,
in this case.
I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
But
No,
the
I
one thing
think-
I wish Horizon Zero Dawn did that Breath of I wanted to say Breath of the Zelda, Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild did. Breath of the Wild, you can climb like anything. Like you see something, you can climb it. There's a stamina meter, but if you want to fucking climb it, you can. And Horizon is a very they do it the usual Uncharted style. Oh, that wall has a bit of a white chalk thingy over there. I can climb that. Oh, that yellow thing, I can climb that. You know, that kind of style, Uncharted, Tomb Raider kind of style. So, but it's like basically a mishmash of so many other games. Like it has a bit of Far Cry in there, Far Cry 3, 4. It has a bit of Assassin's Creed a little bit with the parkour. It has a bit of Tomb Raider and Uncharted, and it has a bit of like RPG. It's such a good game. Holy shit. Go and play it.
Yeah, I tell you, I've been like, I'm dying to play Horizon Zero Dawn because it's just, everything, it's one of those games that you can look at it and now I haven't really paid too much attention to the music of it because I haven't watched that much of it, but it feels like it's one of those games, one of those rare games that they've taken the time on every little thing and do it to excellence. So the voice acting, the animation, the
character is
world
really
building,
badass.
the writing, the music, I mean, the little detail that they put in, the ability for you to just take screenshots, without the
It has
HUD
a photo
of
mode,
different things, like shows forethought that they were confident in their game, that like, we know our game is badass and it's beautiful and people are going to want to have screenshots of this. Let's give them the ability to do that in a really nice, beautiful way. And I wish there was more games like that, like one of the big disappointments so far this year for me, and it's weird because it's like I really love the game, but there's a big thing that's keeping it from greatness, and that's For Honor, which came out, has it been like a month now?
Yeah, a month.
And For Honor, if you guys haven't played the game, as a video game, it is like excellent. It's got just great animation. The graphics are really, really good. It's a fighting game, so the mechanics are just really strong and sound. Easy enough that a noob like me can pick up and play, but deep enough that really competitive players can really delve into the system and learn learn really well. And the better player will usually win, not just you can't just go in there and button mash. And so and it's got great music. The voice acting is kind of but it doesn't really need it. It's a fighting game, and the single player campaign is kind of it's just sort of tacked on.
It's mostly
but
multiplayer, right? That's like the main.
But so that's forgivable. What keeps it from greatness is something that should never keep a game from greatness, and it's just Ubisoft once again couldn't help themselves from having in-app purchases and all that. When the news dropped that, because the people did the math, because you got all these different characters that you can play as, and they've got all these things that you can unlock for them, and a lot of it is not just cosmetic. A lot of it is new moves, new weapons for them, or new attachments to the weapons, and the attachments modify your character, so it's not just cosmetic. They figured out that
like 2.5 years or something, right?
if you want to unlock it without paying money, you'd have to spend about 2.5 years of like 8-hour days playing the game, or spend somewhere of like $700 and something to just buy everything. And it's like, that is ridiculous. And then they have DLC coming, so that's just gonna extend that barrier even further. So I look at it as like, oh my god, this is a game that could be at like the Evo fighting game championships, and I think that's just gonna keep it out of it. And I think that's just keeping it out of greatness. Like, it didn't need that. It didn't need, especially when you're paying a premium $60 for a game, and then you don't have access to everything.
Yeah.
That unfortunately that is still happening in the industry. But I think I think the industry is in little steps getting away from that. But it's kind of sad to see on a game like that, because I think it could have been one of the top games of the year, up there with Horizon Zero Dawn and Breath of the Wild. And I think this, non-game thing is affecting the game, and it's kind of sad to see.
Yeah.
Ugh, microtransactions.
Sarah,
and I don't mind microtransactions. Cause, sorry to interrupt, because it reminds me of one thing that's so important to point out. Was it 2 years ago now? Bethesda, when they announced the launch of Fallout 4, they made an app. They made the Fallout Shelter game.
Oh, right.
Totally free to play game. It has in-app purchases. It's one of those like it's kind of like a Farmville kind of thing,
building thing, yeah.
Right, stuff like that, and it's got all these different timers to do stuff, and you can spend in-app purchase, money to unlock stuff and all that. But you totally don't have to. Like I've played many hours in the game. I've never spent a penny, and have unlocked enough to have my fill. In the first month, Bethesda, I think, made $25 million off of that free-to-play game.
Yeah, microtransactions they don't bother me in free-to-play games as much. It's like the $60 games, and there's still extra content to buy, like For Honor.
Okay, so you can do you can do microtransactions if your game is free-to-play or you're Blizzard. If like if you're Blizzard, nobody gives a shit. Like they will defend you.
That was Bethesda, but Blizzard did something similar with Overwatch, which I've actually recently just got hooked on. But Overwatch is a premium game. You're gonna pay $40 to $60 depending what version you get, but you get everything in the game almost. Yep. You get everything essential. You get all the characters, you get all the maps, you get all the game modes, and then all the skins and stuff like that, all the cosmetics you have to, either earn through playing the game or you can spend money to get that. But it's all of that is all totally cosmetic.
Right, yeah. That doesn't bother as much either. It's really just what you described with For Honor is just like
yeah, it's everything's locked behind a paywall, and it's stuff that it matters. It matters. If you want to be competitive, you want to unlock all the, Now, to be fair, some of the game modes, some of the competitive game modes do not allow some of the modifications that you can get. So, like you can get, like, a different spearhead for your warrior, and it may be the spearhead of Doom or something like that, and it gives you a bonus to that. You can only use that in some of the game modes, and some of the real competitive game modes, like the ones that I would see in a tournament, you can't use those for. But, the different skins and stuff like that, I think you could use those, but again, all of that is locked behind a paywall, and it's kind of unfortunate, and I don't know about you, but I want, even if I'm not going to play a certain character, I still want to be able to unlock the stuff for that character if I want to be a completionist. And they've, and their excuse for it was, well, we've never expected anybody to unlock everything. We figured people would pick their favorite characters and then just unlock the stuff for them. It's like,
you figured wrong.
Not if we're paying $60 for a game. And I paid $60. I didn't get a key for this. I paid full price for it, and and I don't even play it anymore pretty much because of that. So yeah,
what did you play? I actually played a bunch of unrecorded stuff. Like played some like Heroes of the Storm and League of Legends stuff. Random people.
Was that? Did they do some new updates or something? New characters?
No, friends just wanted to play it. Although I did play with the new characters, because when I logged into the League, I don't remember what I was doing when I was last playing League, because it was like 2 years ago the last time I played it. But I had a bunch of like in-game credits stored up, so I was able to buy a couple of the new champions. And there's one that I really like called Kled. He's kind of like a like halfling riding a lizard, like cavalryman around. And his like gimmicky thing is if he takes too much damage, like his health bar is split between like his mount health and his health, with the mount health being first. So when his mount health depletes, the mount runs away, and then his entire skill bar changes, and everything he does gives him back like courage. And once he gets enough courage, the mount comes back and it gives him health back. So he's really fighty. It's really about this mix of playing super aggressively and then getting your mount back to kind of like heal, sort of. And he's very funny. So I'm enjoying that a lot. Yeah,
it's a pretty interesting mechanic.
It's funny that you mentioned Heroes of the Storm, because I'm curious what you think of something that happened recently. So, and I only know about this because I don't play Heroes of the Storm, but I play Overwatch, and apparently there was a big brouhaha over I think on Heroes of the Storm, if you logged in as a new player, or if you played and they had some events that if you play these events and play long enough, you will unlock some exclusive skins for Overwatch characters.
Yes.
And people that play Overwatch were kind of pissed because they were like, I don't feel like I need to go play that game to get these skins. Why can't I get it in the game that I'm playing that I paid for? And so I'm just curious if you know about that sort of controversy, and what do you think about that?
Basically, it was if you played 5 games with somebody on your friends list, then you got a diva skin, basically. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of examples of that. Like, I've gotten World of Warcraft pets from Heroes of the Storm. I've gotten World of Warcraft mounts from Hearthstone. Like, the whole Blizzard infrastructure is kind of interwoven.
Yeah, this is not like their first time, right?
Breakout. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff like this. And yeah, I don't know. I definitely, like, I can understand the frustration where it's like, I like Overwatch. I don't like Heroes of the Storm. I don't, like, it's really gimmicky for me to have to do this to get this thing. But one, the thing you're getting isn't that important, and I don't think the cost of getting it is terribly high. It's very easy to get. It's not, like, I could be wrong, but I don't know that you actually have to play against other people. Like, I think if you're queued with humans, and you play against bots, I think that still counts as one of the 5 games. So
no, you do, because I looked into it because I wanted to. Okay. I actually wanted to get that diva skin, and then I looked into it, and it said you have to play 5 games versus a bot, and then you have to play 5 games with your friends versus real players.
People, okay.
And I think
10 games total.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken,
you don't have to win though.
I thought you did have to win, but maybe not. Maybe not. I don't remember. All I remember was feeling kind of turned off by it. Like, it felt like just too much trouble over a game that I didn't really care about.
Yeah.
And over a skin that I could live without.
It's horrible if you have to win, because you shouldn't expect new people to come in and win. That's dumb. But I don't think
it's probably not.
Basically, Heroes of the Storm has that every week. Every week it's play 5 games with friends and you get a reward. That week it just happened to be a Overwatch skin.
Oh, okay.
Usually it's in-game skins.
They sort of, and it was probably their plan anyway, but they ended up afterwards saying, yes, guys, later on you're gonna be able to get that skin in Overwatch without having to leave it. But I know there was a big brouhaha, and I didn't worry too much about it. I was like I wanted the skin myself. I was like, that'd be cool, but it's like, I could kind of live without it. I don't feel like downloading that game. I'll get it later somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it falls into the category of games for me that I have enough fun playing it with my friends, but I would never play it solo. It's just not that fun for me as a game.
Yeah.
Which one? Heroes of the Storm?
Heroes of the Storm, yeah. Well, basically any game with a strong online component that holds true for the most part. Like, I wouldn't play Overwatch solo either. I don't own Overwatch though, so I would play Overwatch if it was free.
It's true, but alas.
I was gonna say, but interesting going back and forth between League, because League is an old account, so I have a rating of, I don't know what it is, but I have a history of matches on that game. So I log in now and I get my butt kicked because I don't know how to play as well anymore. I log into Heroes of the Storm, and the skills are similar enough, but my account has no history, that I'm just mopping up. Like, I've lost like maybe 1 or 2 games total, because like I'm playing against people who've maybe never played a MOBA before. I don't know, but they're so bad. It's really fun. I want to stay that way forever.
I'm pretty sure that I'd be terrible at a MOBA.
Yeah, it's a different skill set from a lot of other games. It's very overstimulating. Like, a lot of the time, in League especially, I just feel like, what happened? I don't know. Was it good? Was it bad? Something happened. It's too hard to track. But I also played Owlboy, more Owlboy. That's going well.
Awesome.
I'm kind of hitting my limit on it a little bit. Like, I'm not tired of the game, but I'm definitely like, I hope it ends soon.
I understand.
Because I don't want to play that much more.
There was a
about
point
6 to
that I
7
felt
hours,
that.
so it's not that long.
It's not too bad though. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I
did it in like 10 hours.
Okay. I think I'm just getting frustrated during certain parts where the game has this weird mechanic between flying and walking, and the transition point between both is very fine. So a lot of the times I'll land and start walking, and which changes, like, you'll drop your weapon essentially, and I don't mean to land. Like, I basically never ever want to land. The only reason the game ever makes me want to land is certain things on the ground are only interactable when you're on the ground. Even though like you're standing in a certain cell, the animation between flying and standing, like you don't actually go down. It's just a differentiating like thing between I can pull this lever now, and so that's a little annoying, but the game's still amazing.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I felt that. I mean, I have a full let's play of that, and I think I comment on that a couple of times. Like, I just want to land and grab the thing and leave, and it's a whole involved thing.
Should just swoop down for it.
It's still
would be interesting.
it's still a great. I think it's a very great game.
Yes, for sure. So that's something that hasn't ruined the game. And I also played a novel game, like a choose your own adventure novel, called Welcome to Morrytown. It's not actually visual. There's no pictures. It's all only text.
Okay. Yeah, full on text.
And then you choose your options at the bottom, like I say this, I go with them, I don't go with them, kind of stuff. The setting is in the distant future, like the whatever governing body of the world has banned human genetic experimentation, so they experimented on animals, and now you got animal people. This is after the war that was relevant. So you're like you choose what you are basically. I'm a female bear, and you kind of it's very open. Like you can choose what you want. So I'm basically there's a gang war going on. Like kind of like the anti-human gang and like the pro-cooperation gang, and you're trying to like do whatever you want inside that. So I don't really know where I sit yet. I haven't committed yet to being pro-human or not. I'm kind of going along. I cooperate with everybody, and then I'll decide who to betray later.
So conniving of you.
Yes.
Backstabber.
There's always got to be a betrayal. There's always got to be a betrayal somewhere.
They're all gangsters. They're all bad in the end anyway. I'm the only good one.
That's what they all say.
Yeah, that's what the true villains say. So I think that's all I played. I don't think I played anything else of note. I did see Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, Mary Poppins.
La 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 la. I haven't seen it yet. La la la.
Let's talk about it now extensively.
We're talking about spoilers. 6 months.
Yes.
6 months. You said.
So can you believe that one thing happened?
What about that other thing
Groot was in it.
It made me want to watch Starman. Did you ever see the old I think it's an 80s movie called Starman, starring very young Jeff Bridges?
I know of the movie. I never saw it. I know which one you're talking about though.
I don't know if it's a good movie or not, but it made me want to watch that.
7 out of 10.
Okay, I like it, but I think it might be one of those cult kind of classic-y things.
There's a song by David Bowie as well called Starman. I did not know that.
Yes, there is.
Oh, yeah.
It's not for the movie, right?
I don't think so. I'm pretty dang sure that it's not for the movie. But it made me want to watch that, because Jeff Bridges' character looks a lot like a character in Guardians, I'm not going to say.
Right.
But it was good. My favorite part, though, I'd avoided seeing the Thor 2 or 3 trailer, but of course in the movie theater I was forced to watch it, and holy crap, Jeff Bridges, y'all. Not Jeff Bridges.
Yes!
Freaking, what's his name?
Who?
Nature Finds a Way.
You're thinking of
Jeff
Goldblum,
Goldblum.
Jeff
Goldblum.
Goldblum.
Right.
Holy crap, that's amazing. I'm so
Nature Finds a Way?
Nature, that's his most famous quote, and you know
right,
it.
I thought you were just gonna say like Jurassic Park or something.
Yeah, that's what
Fly.
Nature Finds a Way is from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
actually,
but I was thinking Nature Finds a Way is a movie.
Life Finds a Way. I think is the
is it Life? Oops.
Life, but yeah, it's close enough. It's nature, same difference. Sorry, I'm a Jurassic Park fan.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that a lot.
And Kate Blanchett. Oh shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
She looks amazing.
I didn't recognize her.
I think she's an actual elf.
I didn't at first either.
I didn't recognize her until somebody said, yeah, she's in. I was like, wait, what? And then I had to go look again and like, oh, snap.
That's right.
I was with Jeff. I said Jeff Bridges. I meant Jeff Goldblum. Right. That was the confusion.
Yeah, you meant Jeff Goldblum.
The better of the
Jeff.
Jeffs.
I was like,
who's better? Who's a better Jeff? Bridges or Goldblum?
Goldblum,
right? I totally,
for sure.
I totally dig Goldblum.
No contest. I love Jeff Bridges, but Goldblum's amazing.
I mean, Jeff Bridges is what's that?
The dude, right?
The dude, yeah.
He's also Jeff Bridges is a bad guy in the first Iron Man movie. Obadiah Stane.
Right. Obadiah, yeah.
Oh,
that's right.
I forgot that was him.
Yeah.
Crossover potential there.
Oh yeah. So
or did he die? I don't remember if he died or not.
Well, he died. Yeah, his character died.
So off camera, just an explosion. He could be alive. I don't know.
He resurrected.
No, he died like on
Okay.
camera. Like his head was
He
like
went into space or
squashed.
something.
Guys,
Fell back.
it's Marvel. Nobody dies in Marvel. Remember? Especially not in the current universe, which is not a
I
big deal
heard
to me, but...
They're working. Netflix is working on a comedy show starring Jeff Goldblum and Danny DeVito.
Oh,
I don't know the premise, but I'm on board
was-
already.
I
Right.
think
That was real?
I
thought it
saw
was fake
something about that.
news.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
It could be fake news. I hope it's not fake
I didn't
news.
even mean that one.
That'd be
Darn
the
it.
coolest fake news yet.
I didn't even... I hate how that word is transformed to mean something else. Anyway, I thought that was
it's Amazon. Amazon comedy.
Yeah.
series.
Oh, Amazon, not Netflix. Okay.
Oh, that makes sense.
I mean, Amazon's looking to like really take some of the Netflix people with like American Gods and stuff.
Yes,
Yeah, they're putting.
Well, they've already had
they're
a
putting
couple of
lot
good
into them.
shows. I think their big show right now is The Handmaid's Tale, right? Is
Is
that
that
Hulu?
from...
But they don't.
It's not
Release
Netflix,
all
is
the
it?
episodes at once, right?
I
Which
don't
is
know.
the annoying
who's-
thing. And it's a
I don't know
subscription
either
service.
schedule. That's true.
But I guess
They-
you
they
do
finished
kind of
it-
get it for free with Prime, I guess.
You
Yeah,
get
if
it.
you
Yeah,
get
you
Prime,
get it as
you
part
get-
of
yeah.
Prime,
Like, unlike
I-
Hulu, you get a
I
bunch
have-
more of those stuff with Amazon.
and you get Twitch Prime.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
No, with
Oh,
Because
I
that's
need to
a
look into that.
thing that everybody needs.
I don't even know what it is.
it just
I-
it's
yeah.
there.
It's a thing, yeah.
I technically have Amazon Prime through my student account. That's why I need to check that out.
Hmm.
See how long I can last.
I mean,
So,
I'm
yeah.
a little bit bummed that Google didn't get Twitch because I know they were in the running for it and they lost it to
They already had
Amazon. But
YouTube.
yeah, I know it's good. It's better for the industry that
Yeah.
it's a whole other company that has it, but it kind of would have made things a little easier to be
I
able
thought
to.
there
you know-
are.
That's
I don't know.
true.
I thought in the US there are laws against that, buying
There's
your
like,
competition.
monopoly law.
Some kind of
No.
monopoly law, right?
Not really, but yeah,
Quotes,
monopolizing.
Quotes.
I don't know how well they're enforced.
I mean, it's an
They're
actual
not
law,
well
but it's
enforced.
probably not enforced. Is what I mean.
Yeah, there is. I mean, there,
No,
there
no,
is
no.
supposed to be a law about it, but it's not.
Oh,
It just means you cannot
it's hard
be
to judge.
like if you have a streaming service, so if you own Twitch, then you cannot really take steps to prevent other people from having their own streaming service and buying all of them. So if there's a bunch of other streaming services, you basically can't buy them all. You know that would be a
But yeah,
monopoly.
like what?
But if you
line
buy
is it-
the only one, you know, it's the only one. So
it's a weird area.
yeah.
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 So yeah, Sarah, what did you do?
Unfortunately, Foe took it because I've been really rushing and busy this week with stuff, trying to prepare for upcoming things. So I was doing so much editing. I think I had to compile 40. I think I had to compile and upload about 40 videos in about 2 days.
That's a lot of videos.
That's a lot of videos. Yes, that was.
Wait, you
headache
didn't
and-
actually upload though, right? Your computer did something
Like-
funky.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I did upload them eventually.
Oh, right.
I did get them uploaded eventually. So, it's just because usually, because of how I tend to, do bulk editing and stuff like that, and because of internet, and because I'm sharing internet with other people and where I live and stuff like that, I usually do uploads to YouTube at night. So usually what happens is, I know it's not great, but I leave my computer on all night. I have it upload through the videos, and, I go to sleep. So I had my videos set to upload, 10 videos while I went to sleep. So it depends on how your internet is doing. If your internet's not going well, you're lucky if you upload even half those videos, but my internet was doing okay, so I actually thought I had a chance to upload all 10 throughout the night. So I woke up the next day, and I checked my computer, and found out that it had not uploaded any of them, and I was like, wait, what? And then I get the little thing that's like, we just did some updates! And I was like, I hate you. I
Yeah,
hate
that's
you so
happened to
much.
me.
It happens to me a lot too, and I keep forgetting because they do usually warn you. They're like, you're gonna have to do a restart soon, and I always forget about it, and so I don't I'm this close to changing my.
Are you using
usual
Home
hours.
Basic?
It's home. It's Windows 10.
If it's
home.
basic, you can't actually choose when you want to do the updates. You can only
Oh,
choose.
gosh.
You can only choose that if you're using Pro, which is
Yeah,
annoying.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I know the one version I have. You can choose your usage hours. So usually it's 8 to 5, which is we would never do updates during this time because this is a normal workday kind of thing. I know you can change those hours, and I need to because I'm not using my computer when I would be at work, so that doesn't make any sense, right? So I need to change those hours anyway. But anyway, so I did manage to upload them eventually. So, but now I have to do the tedious process of, you know, doing the names and putting all the metadata and then scheduling them, and it's such a nightmare.
I hear that some multi-channel networks have tools to bulk edit, but I don't know what they are or how to get them.
Yeah, if an MCN would actually pick me up, but still.
Don't
it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
What, you mean you don't get like 10 of them a week from all these other smaller MCNs?
Yeah.
I actually don't know. I haven't had anybody slate for me. Although, to be honest, like, if they had a bulk editing system, I would do it for free if they would just give me that.
Well,
I wouldn't even
I think TubeBuddy, you can do a bunch of bulk edit stuff now. I think with the free version, it's very, very limited to, like, almost not really usable, because I think I downloaded it and then, like, didn't really find it that useful. But if you pay, like, you can do bulk edits to, like, just about everything on your channel. So it might be worth doing, but you know, if they have a free trial, I would do it today just for the next 2 days, but I don't think do that. What I do basically for most, especially for series, you know, that you know, for Let's Plays that have ongoing stuff, I just have a Word document that has,
that's what I do too now.
That has everything. Has the title, has the title, the description box, and then the tags, and then I just only have to change a couple things and then copy paste and.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, luckily for the metadata, I do have that part of it. So it's not, the process isn't too bad. I think that my main issue is that, like, it's just the lag, like the loading time to make sure that your thumbnail appears, and the lag time for make sure you save your changes before you go to the next screen. I think that's the hardest part for me, because, like, you want to make sure everything's saved accordingly, because if you do one step wrong, you need to go back and fix it. So that's, I think, the hardest part. So, but anyway.
So is that what you played today? This week?
I played Sony Movie Studio Platinum 12. That was the main game I played. You can check my Steam. That is, I've had the most hours on that right now. So that's what I've been playing this week.
I didn't know you used Movie Studio Platinum.
I do now. I used to use Windows Movie Maker, and then that went on sale, and I went, I think it's time to get a new movie editor. Because
it's definitely better than Windows Movie Maker. That's for sure.
I think just about anything's better than Windows.
500% better. Yes. Windows Movie Maker.
Guess what I use?
What do you use?
I use Windows Movie Maker, and I still do. I still do. It works fine for what I needed to do. It does it, and then I found out the little trick that you can turn off, because you know how, like, when you load up something into Windows Movie Maker, it's gotta, like, process the video before you can edit it. You can turn that off.
What?
I didn't know that, and I looked and it's like. Well, now they recommend you don't do that unless you have a really, really good system. Well, I had recently upgraded to a pretty monster PC, so I was like, I'm going to turn it off. And I turned it off. It's made my life so much better, because I can just plop in the video and then just
so slow.
You know, get started on doing it.
That's cool.
I mean, the main issue for me with Movie Maker, I mean, it's actually, especially if you're starting out, or for what it works, it works. It does work. It's just that for me, I like doing specialized edits. So the main issue for me is you can't do any, like, special things. And also it doesn't help that I have experience with Photoshop, so I'm used to having layers. You can't do layers with Movie Maker, and with Sony Platinum Studio, whatever it's called. It has a ridiculous long name, I never remember it. Anyway, with that one, you can do, like, however many layers of, video and audio that you want, so it's so much easier for me. So it's, I can actually have outro music now. I can actually add little, I can do special zooming effects now and stuff like that. And not everyone needs to do that. That is just my style of editing, so it works. Yeah. So for me, it's great. But yeah, anyway, that's the main game I've been playing. But I did see Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I could see the criticisms of some people being like, the plot wasn't as tight, and some of the jokes not necessarily hitting as much, but I still really enjoyed it. I definitely feel like number one is more of a tight movie. Like, as far as, like, a good, like, overall movie from beginning to end, number one's still probably better, but it was still a really fun movie. It was not, I was so scared it was going to be a railroad crash, and it wasn't at all, so I was good with that.
That's great. In Marvel Studios, we trust, right?
Right now, especially.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? And it's funny. This reminds me of a conversation that I had during Easter. A couple of friends, we were discussing what are our top 10 best superhero movies of all time. And to make it easier, we said let's
Spider-Man
limit
3, number 1.
Let's limit our. Well, what we said was let's 10 out of 10, 7 out of 10. No, but I said why I threw in the limiting factor. I said, well, let's sort of limit it by studio, just so we can add more things in there. So because on Marvel alone could probably have all 10. So we said maybe only one Marvel Studios movie, and then everything's gotta be. So I went back and forth between, I think 4. It was actually 4 Marvel movies that I was going between. It was Iron Man, the first one.
Yes.
The first Avengers.
Yep.
Civil War, and Guardians of the Galaxy. And I ended up with Guardians of the Galaxy being, out of all the Marvel movies, the one I consider the best. Because all the other ones kind of had the groundwork there. Like they had all the characters. Right, they took the time to make an Iron Man movie, a Thor movie, and a Captain America. Now, all of those individual movies, not all of them were all that great, but you had enough of a backstory. You had something to lean on. Guardians of the Galaxy came out of nowhere. Most people didn't know who these characters were. Then you got this outlandish, space, really big space epic, and in recent years, the last time we did a kind of space epic like that, in superhero genre, was Green Lantern, and we all know how that turned out. So it's like, and when I was seeing it was like one of the first trailers. I think it was a teaser trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy. I saw that and I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be Green Lantern all over again. Like, this just does not look right. And then it was like, I think the first full trailer that they did, when they started showing like the music that they're using and everything, I was like, wait a minute, this has a chance. And so because of the fact that it sort of came out of nowhere, like no one had an expectation of this to be the success it's been, and people have like fallen in love with these characters, and as much, if not more, than these other established Marvel characters, like Captain America and Iron Man. And I think that is something special. I think they've created something really unique. Yeah. That tops even Civil War, which I think out of the ones with the sort of Avengers character, I think Civil War is the best one. Really close with Winter Soldier, but I think it takes everything that was good about Winter Soldier and just kind of takes it to
I think Civil War is my favorite.
But it's really close. It's really close. But I think Civil War kind of, and it doesn't rely on it, but it sort of has the assist of all this to draw upon. Yeah. To make it, to give it more, you make you care more about the characters. Guardians of the Galaxy had to make you care about the characters with nothing to do. Right, nothing to bring in. And the fact that they were able to do that, I think is just a big feat.
My only real complaint about Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is I did not like Ronan.
Oh,
I thought he was a very hammy, silly villain.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I think to me, because I think because the rest of it was, I think to me it still felt in place because of the rest of the movie. So I could see how maybe he probably should have been more serious, because like it's a better contrast. But at the same time, like I get where you're coming from. Oh, see, to me that didn't bother me so much. That didn't bother me so much. But I could see that though. I do understand where you're coming from. I think to me, that part of the experience was fine. But again, and I think I've said in the show before, but
it didn't ruin the movie at all. It's just the weakest part of a good movie.
I totally get that. I think for me, one of the reasons I've mentioned this before, but one of the reasons I love Guardians of the Galaxy is because to me it's, if I wanted to show someone like how to explain the first session of a D&D game, I would show them that movie. Because that's what that is. It's basically the first session of a D&D game. And I think that's one of the reasons I love it so much, is because, like, I get those emotions all over again. And, like, I see this happen all the time, And so with new people coming in.
I get that same thing from Civil War. Like, the three-way fight between Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America was amazing.
Yeah.
It's like the beginning of Guardians, kind of, when you have the Groot Rocket versus Star-Lord.
Do you mean Avengers?
Versus... I do, you're right. I mean Avengers.
I was like, Thor was in Civil
Avengers
War?
is the best one, not Civil War.
Okay.
The first Avengers.
The first Avengers is my favorite Marvel movie. That's what I mean to say.
Okay.
A lot of the same reasons that make Guardians good.
Yeah, that was up there for me, but again, I felt like, because the first Avengers did something that had never really been done before, a successful combining of all these characters. Like not to take away from that, but again, like, and it's like fractions of a point, differences. Guardians edged it again because you could look at Avengers and just say, well, it had the crutch of, Iron Man and Iron Man 2 so you had all these other movies to kind of set it up. And so you come into watching that, with all these expectations. Now, that being said, I know people that have watched the Avengers and didn't watch the other movies.
Whoa.
And even then said, this is the best superhero movie I've ever seen. So that speaks to how strong that movie is. So not to take away from it, but for me personally, Guardians just edges it just out just because of that, because they needed to build up, just in one movie. They needed to do everything that Avengers did and do it all in one film. And they were able to do that, and very few movies can do that.
The guy who played Ronan the Accuser was the Elven King in The Hobbit.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, that's him.
Weird.
Yes.
Lee Pace.
So funny.
Lee Pace. I could never remember his name, but yeah.
I thought that character was silly too.
Yeah.
Maybe you should like that actor.
He's good at
Maybe I
playing
don't.
silly characters, I guess.
He's just very. They're trying to be solemn, but I can't take them. It's like the person in real life who takes themselves so seriously that I can't take them seriously.
He's super edgy.
See,
he's so edgy and angsty.
See, I didn't feel like the actor was taking Ronan that seriously, so I think that's why I didn't feel that, because I hate that feeling of when someone's taking something super seriously, you're like, you're taking this way too seriously. Like, I hate that feeling, because you're like, I don't know, in my opinion, it's really gross. I never felt that with that actor. I felt like he was purposely trying to be silly, and so not to be silly, but I felt like he wasn't taking himself that seriously, and so I didn't get that weird internal battle. But I totally get what you're talking about, because I hate that.
Well, you should totally look up. You should totally look up. There's outtakes of especially the scene with Chris Pratt and Lee Pace, doing the dance off, and you don't see it in the movie, but Lee Pace actually does some of it. Obviously they didn't put that in the movie, but
the dancing is so
he seems like he's actually a pretty funny guy, and he's trying to play a bad guy.
He could have won right there. So dumb.
What are you doing? I think that's the reason I can't hate Ronan. It's because of that line. What are you doing? Like,
and the way he says it with such intensity. He's like,
shark moment for me.
What are you doing? He's like,
I loved that moment because it was so like, I don't know. To me, I thought it was really.
I like
funny.
his reaction. I just don't like. I don't know.
I know. Part of me wonders if that was like not even scripted. Like it was just Chris Pratt just came out with that, and he just kind of went with it. He's like, "What are you doing?"
It's hard to know when Chris Pratt is actually acting and when he's
he is so genius with comedic timing. He just comes out with like I love watching the outtakes, the Parks and Rec outtakes. Like I think I enjoy those more than the actual show because I just piss myself watching those. If you've never seen them, they're just the things that come out of his mouth. Like it's just ridiculous.
Oh my god!
So Eddie, what did you play this week?
I've been on a number of games. Still trying to finish up Nier Automata. Been playing Tales of Berseria, which I haven't heard a whole lot of talk of, and I really like this game.
Usually the Tales of series is not that mainstream, right?
It seems like. Well, here's the thing. I've never played a Tales game before. And so I said, well, this one's coming out, it looks interesting. And one of the things that interested me about it was it was taking a bit of a departure from the rest of the series. And I'm just kind of going by what I've read because I didn't play the rest of them. But from what I understand, most of the series tend to be bright and colorful, which this one is, because they have that anime look to it. But they're also bright and colorful in theme, even though it's usually some kind of, the world is in peril, the characters were always like these, very kind of cliche, I'm the good guy. I'm destined to save the world, and I'm going to save the world, and everything's about saving the world and fulfilling these destinies and all that. And I think in every Tales of game, the main protagonist was always a male character.
Yes.
For the first time, they've made a female character. Her motivation isn't to save the world. It isn't about destiny. Her motivation is she is pissed off that somebody did something very bad to her, and her entire motivation is she's going to kill this bastard, and she is going to do everything she can in however manner to do it. So she will lie.
So the developers are literally saying women are just always angry. That's what they're saying, right? That's literally.
Listen.
No,
and
because
the guys always just want to save the world.
If you watch the game, well, the thing is that they did, I think they did some really good character building with this character, because she has a story arc. She doesn't begin at the very beginning of the game, the first opening cinematics. You see her in this feral state. She's revenge, and she's kind of Batman. I'm going to get my revenge. But then they sort of flash back, and there's actually a really long extended portion of the game where you see the prior events, and you see how different she was, and it takes you through how she gets to that point where everything becomes about revenge. Now, a lot of people have kind of complained about the game.
How does she fight wearing that? Have you seen
anime?
You're asking the age-old question of any. Yeah, listen.
Yeah,
I don't know either.
It's anime, but you can change it out.
Right.
You can change it out. But one of the things that the complaints that I've heard about the game was that people felt that she was kind of one dimensional, because everything about her was I want to get my revenge, and something would happen. They're like, oh, we can go over there and do these things, and she'll be like, fine, I'll do that one cool thing as long as I can get my revenge. I'll help you people in this town, but it's gonna help me get my revenge. And she kind of does that, but if you really watch it, you can get the sense that she's doing these good things, or she's doing this quest because at heart she's a good person, but she doesn't want to let go. She doesn't want to forget about this revenge thing, because it's so important to her that she's kind of almost intentionally saying, I want my revenge, to remind herself that that's why she's putting herself through these, and to not veer away from that, because there's so many things happening. She's meeting good-hearted people, and there's a lot of emotion to this game, and that's another thing that's drawn me into the story. It's pretty linear, so it's kind of there's not a whole lot of branching paths or anything like that, not a lot of side quests. Pretty much you'll go through, but the story has been really fascinating, and I've played a lot of JRPGs, and it does a lot of things very similar, a lot of similar territory, and then it does some things that feel really unique. So definitely one to check out. And actually, I kind of got the reason why this one came on my radar was because I wanted to play Final Fantasy 15, and it's a console exclusive, and I wanted a RPG on PC.
That is why I bought the PS4.
And I got so Tales of Berseria. The combat of that reminded me a little bit of Final Fantasy 15, where you have all the characters running around and you're not really controlling them all, but you can switch in between. So the combat is somewhat similar. So that's how I kind of landed on that game. And then I've been also playing near like I mentioned before, we talked about that. But the one game that people love to kind of hate on is Mass Effect Andromeda.
I see.
Andromeda.
I love it. So you're fine. I love this game too much.
I'm enjoying the game very much. Now, here's the thing. I have not played any of the old Mass Effect games. Q gasps. And now I was going to play them because I knew Mass Effect was coming out from long ago, and I was going to play them all as a lead up to it, and then I had the idea, I was like, well, I'm going to record my playthrough of Mass Effect Andromeda. Maybe it'll be interesting to record my reactions from someone that has no nostalgia of the other games, and I judged this game based on itself, because again, it's a new story. It's not really the same studio anymore. It's Bioware, but it's not really the same. I don't know if any of the same creators were on it. So I said, well, let me just go into this fresh new eyes, and I've enjoyed it. And the few things that people have complained about, I honestly think are minor. The facial animation stuff, that, like, while not great, like I've seen worse. and to me it was forgivable. Some of the dialogue was it is pretty bad, but I think that the things that the game does do well kind of outweigh that. So I've been having a blast with it, and like I'm blown away how good it looks in spite of some of the crazy facial animations and stuff like that. It still I think looks it's pretty fantastic. So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, Shar and I have talked about it at length. I would normally have mentioned that I also play Andromeda because that's like been my focus, not for necessarily recording, but just playing it. But I haven't had time. Because I am a huge Mass Effect person. I played all 3 games. I'm a huge fan of the series, and I'm like one of the few people that loved Andromeda, and despite of that. And some of the I think it's because some of the things I think they were trying to do with this game I appreciated. Well, I think a lot, not necessarily everyone necessarily liked. It would be interesting to see your reaction. I think I will warn you if you play the first 3 games. That number 1 especially, I think you're gonna feel it's like very slow. I think you're gonna be grabbed by it, but I think especially the combat has gotten progressively better as the Mass Effect series has evolved. But like Mass Effect 1 still had, it's not turn-based at all, but I mean, if you ever played any old Bioware games, it's a little bit slower. You can't jump around as easily, so it's gonna backtrack a little bit. But it's a very different feel than Andromeda. Andromeda's all about exploration and kind of also about a character who's just kind of trying to discover themselves, while the Mass Effect trilogy, it revolves around Shepard, who's already a badass. So there's it's a different kind of feel. So it'll be
there's a reason why he's called Shepard.
Yes,
there's a reason for that.
That name was put on purpose.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, but oh yeah, and I intend to go back and play and actually the fact that it plays slower is kind of a good thing for me, because those kind of games I actually want to play them for the story, not so much the action. Same thing with Mass Effect Andromeda. I wanted to play it more for the story rather than the action, and it's kind of turned out vice versa. Like the action is what I'm enjoying most, but the story is interesting so far. But I'm really blown away by the action. Like I think the action is really good. Now I know that may be the one thing that I may hate going back, is I may feel like, oh, I got hooked on this cool action in Mass Effect Andromeda, because that's one thing nobody can gripe on, is like the action in that is pretty good.
It's great.
So it's
great.
It's
it is different. It is very different. So but I don't know, I love the Mass Effect universe. I just love every moment of it, and so it'll be interesting to go back, especially since I'm not going to spoil, but there are little hints throughout the game that are referenced in games 1 and 2. I'm going to be interested to hear like which ones you remember. I mean, not to spoil anything, but there was a side quest that directly relates to a major thing that happens in game number 2 that I just discovered the other day. A very minor side quest, but they reference something very huge that happens in game 2, and I was like, oh, holy crap! And so I'm going to be interested to see if like you pick up on that and stuff like that. It'll be funny.
Are you talking about the Yara one?
Nope.
One of the things that I'm kind of dreading in a way in my playthrough of Mass Effect Andromeda is I'm dreading that there's going to be a moment that they're going to be having this conversation, and then somebody's going to reference something big, or they're going to be a big revelation from something else, like, and that time that the schnagen and the thing happened, and everybody in the scene is going to be like and I'm like, what?
Well,
what?
The good news is Andromeda
what are you talking about?
Well, the good news is that Andromeda takes place before Mass Effect 2. So the only... In fact,
isn't it before 3?
No, it's before 2.
I thought it was during 2. Well, I thought the Andromeda Initiative I thought the Andromeda Initiative was started during Mass Effect 2, but then it jumps forward 600 years.
Yeah,
so essentially the story's taking place after 3, but as far as the character's concerned, all they know is everything that happened up until
that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Sorry. All the information that the characters in Mass Effect Andromeda have are basically like, they don't even really know the full story of End of 1, because basically what happens at the end of Mass Effect 1 only Shepard and his crew knows, but not the rest of the populace. So like that part hasn't been revealed to you. And some of the big things that happen at the beginning of 2, you only kind of hear semi-references to. So for it's stuff like that. I don't want to spoil anything, but like you hear references to, but you don't realize they're kind of major later on. There's a lot of references to some bigger events in number 2.
There's a few things I've been noticing that I'm pretty sure are references, but I don't really get them. But I'm like, I think that's a reference. I see what you did there.
You will probably. You'll be like, oh wait, I remember that term. I remember that. Oh, okay, stuff like that. So, but it'll be interesting to see.
Just to wrap this part up,
yes.
I think for you will like this game. I'm not sure. Did you play Gone Home?
I actually didn't. I own it, but I didn't play it.
But you played Dear Esther Firewatch.
Correct.
So I played a new...
No spoilers about Firewatch, please, because I'm going to play that next, but I haven't played it yet. Firewatch.
We're just talking about walking simulators.
Yeah. I played a walking simulator
let me
this
guess.
week.
Are you talking about
there's only one
The Second Before Us?
Okay, there's only two. No, I didn't play that. What is it called? A Second Before Us?
A Second Before Us.
I have no idea what that is. No,
Okay.
I played the one that got really popular.
I'm sure I recognize the name, but I can't think of it right now.
What Remains of Edith Finch.
Oh, yeah, that's a new one, right? It's a new
Yes.
one. Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah. It was made by the people who made Unfinished Swan, which was a game I really liked on the PS3.
Right, you talked about this.
Yeah. So Unfinished Swan was sort of kind of like a walking simulator, but you can act walking simulator plus a bit of like first person puzzler kind of thing. You actually like you can shoot out ink or something, if I remember correctly, to like paint the world, and like I can't really remember. It was like a long time ago. It was like a PS3 digital only exclusive at one point. And so these guys made What Remains of Edith Finch, which is a 1.5 to 2 hour
Oh, that's it?
walking simulator that costs $20.
I don't like that.
So
I like short games for cheap.
the story is actually really good. So the whole point about the game is you go back to the old house that you grew up in, and this house is like super huge, right? At the countryside, it's like huge near the ocean, and you have like a long lineage, and you experience the story of the different people in your families from your great grand people, whoever, right? And you go to each room just by looking at the room, it sort of tells the story of the person already before actually interacting with anything, and then you interact with that one huge item in the room to experience what the other person is experiencing and all that. So it uses the old, the house and the room is also a character kind of thing, you know what I mean, right? But the story is just really interesting, but I'm not sure because before I played this game, I already knew that it was going to be an emotional story. I did get emotional about it, but before playing it, I already knew that it was a really good story, and it was a really emotional one. So I'm not sure if that sort of like influenced me of how I want to feel.
Primed you, as they would say.
Yeah. So I'm not sure, but the game is really good. But for $20, it will be a hard sell for some people.
Well, good friend of mine, the way he said he determines the value of a game, like
please don't say $1 an hour.
He does. he sort of does that. Well, he doesn't do the dollar an hour, but he says, for how much I spent, how much does that break down per hour for the hours that I spent? So, what game he was talking about recently? There was some game that he said, it's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So he said he bought that game. He bought it for something like $30, but he's played well over 100 hours on it.
The thing is, whoever uses that argument, most of the time they like to play multiplayer games. I've only heard people using that argument when it comes to multiplayer PvP, like those survival games. That's
interesting,
like
because
Rust.
he is that kind of player. So
that's because
that
multiplayer games, survival sandboxes, you pay 30, 40. None of them cost $60. Most of them cost $20-$30.
And you can easily play 100 hours on.
It's so easy to do that. So I think it's sort of like kind of it. I think, but I also think that games like the walking simulators, they do I think they are worth that money. It's just that it's a bit harder to take out your wallet for that because of the hours, but I still don't really like using the hour dollar breakdown argument.
For that game in particular, so you said it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours games?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
The Edith Finch. So it's like, let's say it's 2 hours for sake of argument, and it's $20. So would you pay $20 to go see a 2-hour movie? You know, you kind of look at it that way almost, because it's
sure,
a walking simulator.
But I don't want to play a 5-hour
story.
walking simulator, if you get what I mean. I'll get tired of it.
Okay.
I'm not sure about you guys. Do you guys want to play like 5, 6, 8 hours of a walking simulator?
Well, isn't Firewatch like that? Isn't
Firewatch was
4 hours, right?
Is it 4?
6 hours?
Okay.
4 to 5
Oh, it's only
hours.
4?
Something like that.
Okay.
I get tired of
I
it.
remember being tired at the end. Because I think I like to play walking simulators in one sitting. So I don't know. I like it to be bite-sized, I guess.
Yeah, I can see that. It's hard because
4 hours
because
is
I
good.
think of this also with like visual novels, which is another one where it's usually like the high cost and whether it's worth it. And visual novels is more difficult because unfortunately the art assets are often extremely expensive. And so, yeah, it probably is worth $20. And actually, for the hours you put into it, it might be worth, it's not necessarily going to be 2 hours because it's probably going to be replayed and stuff like that. But people don't necessarily want to pay $20, and I understand why. But it's, especially since with visual novels, it's also harder because there are probably more words. Like, there's more writing than probably most other, like, AAA games. And so there's that.
Like, interestingly, I kind of, for some reason, like, just historically, I guess I expect to pay less for a visual novel than I would for an actual book.
Yeah.
So I think people who really like walking simulators, they don't mind the price.
Yeah.
It's probably true.
I can see that.
But if someone that likes to play, what is that game, that sandbox survival game with the dinosaurs? Ark Survival Evolved?
Minecraft. Yeah.
But if someone who likes to play those kind of games most of the time, and they say $20 is not worth the 2 hours, I mean, I can understand where they're coming from.
It definitely wouldn't be for them.
See that.
But the thing is, even if the walking simulator is $2, they wouldn't enjoy it because they don't like playing those kind of games anyways.
Yes. Exactly.
So it's almost pointless to make any comments about it. I feel. So like, and then you have your AAA $60 games, which is like 50, 60 hours. So I just feel like you narrow it too much if you just argue dollar hour breakdown.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's interesting because I've never really looked at it like that. But when he made that comment to me, I was like, in the moment, it kind of made sense. It's like, okay, I don't really measure games like that, but that's an interesting way to do it. But now that you mention that because he is that kind of player, like he plays those big sandbox games or exclusively multiplayer games. He doesn't really play narrative type games. He kind of doesn't care about that. So and see, for me, it's the opposite. I care very much about the story. It was funny, something you said before made me think a little bit when you said you were kind of going in prepared for an emotional story. It reminds me because kind of recently I played through for the first time Life is Strange. And that game probably broke me. And
I need to play that game.
You
haven't played that game?
No.
I cry on video. I cry on video, like a couple times, like that game. But it's so good. It is so worth playing. Yeah. Like even if you don't do a let's play of it, play that game. It is a unique experience.
That's why I haven't yet, because I didn't want to do a let's play of it, and so it's been waiting. That's the problem. So I'm hopefully gonna do it soon. But.
Now it was funny because
you should play with your brother Baby Hands.
For Baby Hands. Oh gosh, I think he's already played it, unfortunately. But yeah, maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
But anyway,
and it was funny because that game was gifted to me by a friend. He bought it, and he's like, hey, I think you should try this out. And I was like, well, I've been meaning to play it, so I was like, might as well play it. And so your comment made me think about it because I knew that it was an emotional game going in, and I'm wondering if that sort of set me up, or just I got that invested in the story. I think it's more that I got that invested in the story because the parts that I got really emotional really far into the game, like several. I think the very first emotional part, was like 5 hours into the game. And that was after several days of playing. So I don't play 5 hours in one sitting. Like I play maybe an hour at a time. So, it was over the course of several days and several hours of playing that I got to this part, and it like really hit me, and it's like, oh my God. And so writing is pretty important to me in games, and especially when they can get an emotional hook. I do hate when some games don't need a very emotional hook and they try to make one and then don't do it very well.
Yeah. Like
For Honor. For Honor kind of does that with the single player campaign is fine. It's just it tries to make it tries to feel very epic, and it tries to make you care for the characters, but it doesn't do a very good job of it. And you come away feeling like the campaign was sort of a slap on. They just threw it on there, which is unfortunate because there's a couple points in the single player campaign where there's these flashes of brilliance, and you're like, oh my God, this could have been a really great. So for instance, there's one small it's not even the whole mission, there's this one part of a mission where there's stealth elements. You gotta sneak around. There's too many enemies, you can't fight them all, you gotta do some sneaking around. And I'm like, holy crap, they can do a stealth game out of this, and it would have been nice to see more stages use that. They could have just added in, a couple more hours of content by having a few more stages of that. But instead, it's like this really short section, and it's really fun. It's like, oh man, that'd be kind of cool, and it would help balance out just the constant fighting that you're doing.
It would be cool to have, like, in multiplayer, one team is like the brutes and the other team is like the stealth sneaky type. Wasn't there like Splinter Cell did that once? One team played it in first person or something, and the other team played it in third person, and they used like all the gadgets and stuff, and they sneak around. I thought it was pretty. I think it was Splinter Cell, one of the Splinter Cell games.
Couldn't say, but that'd be it. Well, you know what just reminded me of, and I can't remember the name of it, and I'm assuming it's still in development, but I saw this game. It might be 2 years ago now, and maybe you guys know. There's a game that you jump into the game, and you're just this guy, and you're out in what looks like an open world, and you're part of a team, and you go and you go over a ridge, and you see the enemy, and you gotta go over there and attack them, and they have their own team. Meanwhile, all around you, there's all these buildings like popping up that are full of equipment or full of bonuses, whatever. And it turns out that while you guys are on the ground, fighting against the enemy, there's this one player who is your commander, and he has an overview of the battlefield, and he's playing the game like a real-time strategy game. He's the one setting up the barracks and different things, and I can't remember the name of it, but I thought that was a unique thing.
I think.
Yeah, there's one player. So there's one player, he's sort of the boss, and he's the one that's setting up just the different buildings, the different resources, and collecting resources, and then all the units that are attacking are actually other players, and they're in a I don't remember if it's I think it's a third person view, and you're running around attacking. And I thought that was a unique idea, kind of along the lines of what you was talking about. But
yeah, I remember thinking about that game. I don't remember what it's called either though.
But I would like to see more asymmetric gameplay like that. Yeah, because there hasn't really
super hard
been much, if any.
Yeah, it's not easy to do right.
Evolve tried.
Yeah.
Board games have been doing it.
Yes, they have.
but it's still yet to see it. Well, unfortunately, the video games are kind of having the same problem as the movie industry, is that you've got these big studios footing the bill, and they generally want formulas. They want winning formulas, franchises and formulas. Okay, this worked this one way, let's do it like that. Which so for instance, talking about movies, one of the movies that I loved so much, and it also worried me very much, was Deadpool. Right, Deadpool came out really funny, and the first thing that crossed my mind when I came out of the theater was, movie studios are gonna get the wrong idea about this. They're gonna be like, oh, okay, make an R-rated superhero movie and it's a hit. That's what people want to see. It's like, no, that's not just it. That's part of it, but it's not just it. There's got to be a little bit more, because it's not the first superhero movie. People always forget Darkman. I don't know if anybody knows that. There's a movie called Darkman. That's an R-rated movie, and it's actually a superhero movie.
What was that quote? What was that quote again from Darkman?
From Liam Neeson?
Yeah.
I don't remember what the quote was.
I remember one of the episodes you mentioned.
The only one I remember is "Give me the fucking pink elephant."
I just remember the scene that I remember laughing really hard at is he's like, the sunlight's making him go crazy, and so you just see this like these like cop or whatever falls into like his lair, and so you see the camera's just like looking at the cop's face. The cop's like, where'd he go? And in the background, you just see him like running across this catwalk, and like so pathetic.
I remember that. Yeah. I love that movie.
Such a weird movie. Yeah,
but it wasn't the first. It was, I mean, you could say RoboCop was kind of a superhero movie, and that was very much R-rated.
Yeah.
So
that dick shooting scene.
But fortunately, we got Logan, which I don't know if you guys seen that. I just saw that recently.
That's great.
And oh man, that was good. So if R-rated superhero movies are gonna be like that, then we might be good.
Yeah.
One thing that it reminds me of, when I saw trailers before Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I feel like every single superhero trailer now, even some non-superhero trailers, they have to play it to 70s or 80s pop music.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it really doesn't work.
I'm looking at you, Suicide Squad.
I know, seriously.
Suicide Squad was the first where I realized the pattern.
Oh my god, the first 30 minutes of Suicide Squad feels like
everything.
The first 30 minutes of Suicide Squad feels like you're watching a
music video.
Yes.
No, you're watching a compilation of music videos, because like different music, different scenes. But it's like, what are we watching here? Is this a movie or is this like
bad.
somebody's YouTube compilation? To be fair though, I may be in the minority here. I didn't hate Suicide Squad, but I didn't really like it very much. It just didn't. I didn't hate it as bad as Batman Superman. Put it that way.
I hated it. I don't know. I hated it, but I don't know. It's hard. It's a different kind of hate than Batman versus Superman, to be honest with you. It's a different kind.
It was like a why did you make this to waste my time kind of hate. Like,
yeah, I think the main reason I hate it so much is because I had some hopes for it, and Batman
try to warn you guys.
Yeah, I know.
See, for me, Suicide Squad was about what I expected out of it, and I think I gave it a pass because I sort of feel like they tried. They didn't do it very well, but it felt kind of like an honest attempt, whereas Batman Superman just screams of studio meddling that always upsets me, because I know, I remember reading way back the original ideas for the movie of Batman Superman, and it didn't have Wonder Woman, it didn't have none of the Justice League stuff, it didn't have any of that stuff, and then it was just like they decided, well, we're gonna launch the whole Justice League franchise off of this one movie, so we got to put everything in it. And you can tell that certain things were added in, and there was a video by Cracked that pointed this out, and it made me laugh, but because I didn't really realize it. But there's this one, the best example of how of them shoehorning things in is the scene when Wonder Woman first shows up, and Superman turns to Batman and says, "Is she with you?" And no, I thought she was with you. The guy from Cracked, the guy from Cracked, he comes out, he goes, "Batman, she's with you. You just emailed her. You just emailed her to meet you. So why are you surprised that she's there?" And it's an example of, because that whole email scene was actually added in after
that
they
was
filmed that
so
scene.
Bad.
That was just added in because
they're gonna do it. Email, like gmail.com shit.
So originally, Wonder Woman was supposed to show up, kind of sort of surprise. You see her earlier in the movie, but as a character, that's when you find out she's Wonder Woman. But they sort of spoiled that in the movie because Batman figures it out before, and then he emails her, he emails her with,
Wow.
And the fact that somebody took time to make logos for
right.
the superheroes that don't exist really yet, it's like, oh
yes.
my God. So that movie just pissed me off to no end. And as much as I love, Batman, and you know what?
Of course.
And I know people get mad at me for this. It's like I didn't hate Man of Steel either. Like I know it has problems, it has issues.
Yeah.
Like but I enjoyed myself watching. I was like, it's I didn't hate it as much as Batman Superman. Like that was just bad.
That's definitely true. I didn't really. But Man of Steel was okay for me. Like, it wasn't as enjoyable for me as I think probably some of the other superhero movies, so that's probably part of the issue, but it's still better than Batman vs. Superman.
Oh, God. That's...
I've skipped all these movies, but I'll still probably see Justice League.
Yeah. Just to see.
I don't think it's gonna. I don't think they're gonna do anything better. I think the Wonder Woman one may be decent. I'm hoping.
I'm hoping.
I'm really hoping.
I'm really hoping.
But Justice League again makes me feel like how I felt coming out of Deadpool, that the studio making this learned the wrong lessons. Like, they saw Guardians of the Galaxy had all these jokes because they did that with Suicide Squad. Remember they held it back to do reshoots because they said, oh, we got to add more jokes. And I feel like they're doing the same thing with Justice League. Like, oh, we gotta add more jokes. It's like, well, no, the jokes are part of the characters. Work on making the characters right. Like, one of the things that the writers, the Russo brothers, the writers of Civil War, one of the things that they said that they spent a lot of time on was that they had this really big meeting and they went character by character and they said, how is this character going to react in these different situations? So they didn't just say, okay, this is going to be Captain America's team because we think these characters would be cool on this team, and this is going to be Iron Man's team because these characters would be kind of cool together and we can do these things. No, they said, let's look at each character, and if they had to pick a side, where would they land, and which ones would be conflicted. Like, for instance, Black Widow, she was basically on Iron Man's team, but she was very conflicted. And there were certain points that she helped the other guy. So, and I think that, not only added some realism, because, most people aren't just black and white. We often can be conflicted about things. But it felt genuine to the characters. The characters were doing things based on what you already know that they would do, not unlike Batman ready to kick somebody's ass and then go, Martha, oh,
Martha.
It's like, no.
So yeah, you guys want to get into some news?
Let's get into some news.
All right.
News time.
Let's do this.
Okay. So since we were talking about Mass Effect Andromeda, the studio Bioware Montreal has put, EA and Bioware has put Mass Effect on hold for now. And converted Bioware Montreal into a support studio for the rest of the IPs. One of the IPs is codenamed Dylan, and it's not announced what it is yet. It's probably gonna get announced at E3. So yeah, but they will be continuing to patch and support Andromeda's multiplayer. They'll be supporting the different studios with the different IPs, as well as a few employees were transferred to different studios to work on different stuff as well. So don't expect Mass Effect to get a sequel anytime soon, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Probably a good thing. I think that's kind of interesting that at first it surprised me, but then I said, well, maybe it's a good thing just giving the team a chance to work on some other projects and get more experience doing different things. I think could be a good thing.
Yeah.
I have a feeling with Mass Effect Andromeda, I have a feeling that let some time pass, and I think it's gonna kind of come up. Kind of like some movies come out and they bomb at the box office, but then they sort of become cult favorites. I think that could be with Mass Effect Andromeda, because they are taking steps to improve it through patches and stuff like that. So I think long term it'll probably its scores will come up.
I just
hopefully.
Also want to see new IPs from BioWare. They've been kind of focusing on some older IPs, and I would like to see some newer IPs because they can have really good ideas. I mean, Mass Effect and Dragon Age are both original IPs, and look how well they did. So I wouldn't mind seeing something just new. So that's what I'm kind of hoping this.
That's the thing, though. They come up with something new, and they'll make like 5 games for it first, and then.
Right, exactly. But which is fine. But again, it's okay, let's do something fresh. Let's go, guys.
So what? They have like sci-fi and they have fantasy. What else? Steampunk? Like they just choose themes from a
Can't
hat
do
or something.
cyberpunk.
I can't do
Oh, yeah.
cyberpunk.
Nope, can't do
I would
cyberpunk.
love to see I wouldn't mind them doing a steampunk game. I'd love to see what their take on that is. They usually
Do
do
some
pretty
diesel
big-
punk.
Yeah,
Who's
I
doing
like.
this?
Diesel punk. I don't know, because one thing I like about Bioware is they try to kind of go more different with the ideas. I mean, Dragon Age is a weird fantasy. Mass Effect, I mean, it plays pretty straight, but it still has some really cool, different stuff, and so I'd love to see their take on different genres.
I would like to
Anyway.
see them do like post-apocalyptic, because Horizon Zero Dawn is basically post-apocalyptic, but a lot of the like the old technology is still kind of running, like the freaking robot dinosaurs. My God.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I want to see more. I want to see more surprising post-apocalyptic and
Yes.
sort of like Horizon Zero Dawn is up there, but even more and you know, maybe it's because it's currently on my mind is Nier Automata, where that one takes like the sort of the scenario in there is just like so out there, but that's what makes it interesting. It's like it's just this real, it's post-apocalyptic, but it's not your usual post-apocalyptic. It's not
Right.
just, you know, there was a war. Like it is just goes so far out, because you know it takes place like so far in the future. I think even further than like Horizon Zero Dawn is going, because I think Horizon Zero Dawn is what, like 100 years in the future or something like that.
I have no idea.
Or they
Not
never
yet,
say.
anyways.
Oh, maybe in a minute. But I think it's somewhere in that range where
Nier
is
Automata
like
is about 10,000 years after the first game.
10,000 years. Yeah, it's
Something like
it's
that.
crazy.
Something
far.
crazy.
And so and in fact, that's probably how you can sum up that game. Just crazy, lots of crazy stuff.
10,000
But
years.
now, one thing I was trying to say before, because you mentioned cyberpunk. Who's making? There's a Cyberpunk 2077
CD
game.
Projekt
Yes.
Red.
CD Projekt Red. Okay.
I think they should.
I'm
I think
waiting for that.
Bioshock should do the team should do the a space western. Something, because it's like Red Dead, but in space. Red Dead, like Red Dead meets Mass Effect.
So you want Firefly?
Yes, but a
Yes,
video
we
game. Exactly. I
Firefly.
want Firefly video game. I'm sorry, it's not called out by name.
There's
but
Rebel Galaxy. What's that game? Rebel Galaxy.
I
check
know
that
that
one.
name.
That's
I don't know
okay.
the name of the game though.
Rebel Galaxy. I don't think it's necessarily space western, but they kind of did it's a space game, but it's got music. Actually, I think it's
The music was pretty good, yeah.
I think it's the same band that did some of the music for Firefly or something like that. I think there's a connection
That'd be cool.
with people that I think there's a connection between the people that made the music for Rebel Galaxy and whoever made new music for Firefly. I could be completely wrong, but I could have sworn that there was some kind of connection there. But it's very similar.
Okay.
What else we got
Good.
for news?
So yeah. Next one
I haven't
is,
looked at gaming news.
I wasn't even sure if I wanted to talk about this one, because now that I mentioned it, I might as well just talk about it.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
so
so you kinda-
now we're
You
here.
So-
building up too much.
Initially, the news was there's a CS:GO tournament in Munich, and it's a they have I'm guessing they have both females and males, right? But this one is talking about a female open. So a female open CS:GO thing. So first off, I'm not really sure about having two different genders. I guess because it's to
Traditional,
get
maybe?
more females to participate, maybe. Okay, so but the story is a team of trans women, so male to female trans, was denied entry. Okay, so that was the initial story, right?
Right.
And this tournament is by ESL, the esports league, whatever. Turns out, fucking hell, it pisses me off just thinking about it. Turns out, it was fake news. The group, the like the 4 people who said they were denied did it as a joke.
Oh, gee.
What?
Like they're actually guys. They're just guys that
They
wore
weren't
wigs or
actually
whatever and
trans.
took pictures, and they were not trans.
Oh, they were fake trans.
fake
I see.
trans, yes. And they did it as a
I
joke.
guess I shouldn't say fake trans. It's not
They
like
weren't
a thing.
trans,
They
basically,
weren't trans. Yes.
They were
yes.
not
Yeah, I see what you
trans.
meant.
So they
Yeah.
did it as a joke, wanting SJW websites to pick it up. which
Of course.
obviously it did because
did.
it's
It did.
newsworthy, right?
Right.
Because it's talking about gender identity and talking
Yeah.
about whether trans women should be allowed to participate with other females, because if like sports, a trans woman
Like,
do
yeah, the
have
Olympics.
physical
Right.
advantages. It's just
Different.
biological. Yeah, it's not a, you can't refute that. So it is it is a sensitive topic, but it is a topic worth talking about. So this shit pissed me off because they were like, oh, look at all these stupid SJW sites, and like they were tricked by this fake news. Hey, fucker, you're the one that did fake news.
the
Like,
news.
don't you understand? And then like websites by that, what's his name, whatever his name is, Infowars, those like really basically picked it up and say, oh my god, BuzzFeed, Kotaku, you're so dumb.
Right.
So it just pissed me off. I just wanted to, I was like,
Need to-
I only saw the update like just now, like 1 hour before we recorded. I was like, what?
Oh my gosh.
So
I
it's-
hadn't seen that, but yeah, that pissed me off too.
Oh my gosh.
Unfortunately, there's people that are gonna do attention getting stuff like that, and then there's gonna be, there's gonna be news outlets that are gonna jump all over it and report on it before they have all the facts, because there's such an emphasis on being first with news.
Sure,
and
that is also
first
something that-
on
That's
stuff.
that is an issue. At the end of the day, though, it is one of those things that like Shar said, it is technically a newsworthy thing to talk about. So it is kind of a jump, but at the same time, I wouldn't. But I mean, like, who were they getting their facts from? Because the problem is that the source of their facts were people you should trust, the people who were hurt, quote unquote. So these people, like, I imagine is what happened. The victims or whatever, were the ones that were speaking out that this happened to them. So those are the people that you would want to talk to. And yeah, maybe they should have, I guess, also talked to the people who refuse them access and stuff like that too. But you're gonna talk to the people who first bring it up first, and then all of a sudden it turns into this, and so it's just like, ugh.
yeah.
Like,
So
it's because
so the people who did
yeah.
the prank also like came out with statements and shit. And apparently, like even the ESL organization was tricked by it. They thought it was a
Yeah.
real thing as well. So even if like Kotaku went to ESL, they're gonna say, yeah, we are gonna be investigating this or whatever, right?
Oh yeah. So
But hold on a second. Who disapproved them being a team? Was the
No one.
ESO?
no one actually did it.
They never. Oh, so they
yeah,
never
it's,
even.
it's totally fake. It's
applied.
like a prank, basically.
Oh, okay.
It's basically
Because I was gonna
prank.
say, how did the ESO not know if they?
Yeah.
Okay, it's just none of it happened. At
So I'm
all.
guessing like I'm guessing ESL is like FIFA. So like FIFA is like super huge worldwide, right? And they don't know everything, but like tournaments and stuff is like I have no idea how
Like
this
individual
esports stuff
tournaments,
works.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's still pretty small, but that's actually something I'm very excited about coming into the next couple years, because there was a lot of news stories last year that several wealthy sports stars, like baseball players and basketball players, have been buying up esports teams and things like that, and I'm hoping that means that we're gonna see more esports growing, seeing it start becoming more mainstream and not just being on Twitch. And I'm not a super huge fan of esports, but I think it's still a very good thing, and I think there should be more of it, because I think it's a very good positive thing for people to get into. And there's a lot of young people coming up that want something like that. They want to be like a sports star, but maybe can't physically be a sports star, but this is something else that maybe they can do.
They're very
And I'm all
popular.
for options like that. I like watching some of them. I like watching the Evo fighting championships, even though I'm terrible
Yeah.
at fighting
I-
games, but I love Evo.
of all the esports, I like the fighting game stuff the best because I
There's
can
so
see
much
what's
drama
happening.
to it.
I can see what's happening on screen. Is one-on-one. The fighters all have their own personality. Like recently, there was like drama between like two really good players as well. I like I like that. It feels like wrestling almost. I really like it. But like Dota and like MOBAs and first-person shooters is just not my thing to watch. I like playing them, but not really to watch. Like recently, I guess just mention it because we're talking about esports. Blizzard is starting up like a Overwatch League, and
Yep.
very near the launch, 5 teams pulled out because rumor has it, to get into the league you have to pay $20 million.
What?
League of Legends
I
is
didn't hear about
$1.8 million to get into the league, because there's gonna be like revenue
Really?
sharing.
That's
and
a
all
real
that.
thing? 1.8 million to get into the league?
Yeah,
Wow, I didn't know
because
that.
there's like revenue sharing and stuff like that. I'm guessing. I have no idea if like actual sports league, like real sports, do they work like that? Physical sports like basket, NBA or whatever.
Yeah.
So 5 teams pulled
something
out.
like that, yeah.
$20 million apparently. Blizzard came out with a statement not denying the 20 million at all. Like it was almost like the statement is kind of pointless. So they didn't come out and flat out say it's not $20 million. So I'm guessing the number is pretty close.
Yeah. Well, as crazy as it sounds, I kind of think that's sort of a good sign, in the sense that this is something they're taking, everybody involved is taking very seriously, and they don't want it to just be a little thing like a couple of guys, just playing. Like, they want to make this into a legitimate,
One of the
big time
biggest
league.
But one of the biggest games is only $1.8 million. Like League of Legends. Like Overwatch wishes they have League of Legends numbers.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree
20
with
million
you
is
there, but
a bit much for something.
But if this
for a competition
I
that's
mean,
not
I don't know.
really a thing
I don't
yet, I guess.
I don't know what's fair numbers in all this, but the fact that it's these, I mean, those are even $1.8 million is very serious money.
Yeah.
And and that's one thing that I want to see, is I want to see esports kind of continue to grow, and not just grow, but make some big leaps into something bigger, something more mainstream, because I think there's more of an audience for it than even they realize. Like, I think there's people that would watch some of it that didn't think they would watch it before, and maybe be surprised.
Yeah. So yeah,
Like
that is
it
about-
happened with the like Magic tournaments used to never be streamed, like the paper Magic,
Yeah.
and then
Yep.
they did a few, and then they got some viewers. It wasn't until they started doing it, I think, on Twitch, when Twitch actually became a thing, then it's grown a whole lot more. But I think even then they still don't kind of take it very seriously, but though it should be.
Yeah. So that's about stupid shit.
What else we got? Anything else new? I haven't paid attention to gaming news lately.
I have a couple, both about Prey. Prey, that new
Oh.
game, the 2017
Yeah.
Prey, not the 2006 Prey that shares the same name, but not really. So it's about, because Prey is published by Bethesda, and because of that, the discussion of Bethesda's review policy came up back again, because Prey is an IP that's not as big as Elder Scrolls or Fallout or even Dishonored or Doom, right? Prey,
Sure.
because it's like totally separate. People saying like it's the spiritual successor to System Shock, but still you need to get a new audience for
Right.
that. Do any of you use reviews to buy games?
I usually do. It depends on the game, of course. I mean, with Mass Effect Andromeda, I was gonna buy it no matter what, unless it was completely.
Okay, let me
garbage, but-
rephrase that question. Do any of you use reviews by professional websites to buy games?
No.
Not Steam reviews.
Sometimes,
Profession-
sometimes
like
I'll click
Kotaku
the
and
Steam
stuff like
reviews
that.
just to get a gist and
Yeah.
read if I agree
right,
or not.
right.
But I don't use Kotaku or Polygon or Rocket for Shotgun. I don't do
Yeah,
that.
I skim them. I do usually
must-
take it with a bit of a grain of salt.
Yeah,
to be honest.
not to
Yeah.
say I wouldn't use them. It's just I play such rando games they're not on those sites.
That's
True.
true. That's true. I do skim them. I do skim like I usually what pops up for me is like IGN and stuff like that. So I skim those.
Oh yeah.
I try to. It very much depends on the game. Because sometimes
Sure.
they're not fair to the games that I like. But I do skim them. And stuff just to kind of, and also just gives me kind of a general taste of like what the professionals think. But I do usually prefer like looking at like Steam, non-professional amateur reviews, because they're usually, I don't know, I don't know, I usually like to see their opinion too.
The only thing is that sometimes I feel like the Steam reviews can be such a wild west of
Yes.
reviews, because
So-
you kind of don't always
Yeah.
know like how honest these are. A lot of them are. A lot of them are. I'm not trying to say anything, but I there's some games that you'll see these reviews like, what's happening here? Are
Well,
these real
they're just hard
reviews?
to read sometimes too.
Yeah.
It's just the writing is so.
It's bad. I think the
I
you know
do-
what? I think the reason Steam reviews sometimes help me is because I usually I can see the bias right away, so I can
Right.
usually
Yeah.
get in their head of like, oh, they're biased against this, and so because sometimes what will happen is I see a Steam review that gives a negative review on something, and I go, oh,
Yeah.
I like this. This is a good thing for me. While like professional,
Right.
they try to not do the bias, and so sometimes it's harder for me to tell.
Like, I read reviews because I want to read the reviews. Sometimes I read the reviews after I play the game.
I've
I
done
do
that
too.
before.
I do too. Yeah.
I
Right.
have done that.
So it's not
Yeah.
it's not for me to use it as a purchasing decision. And now, to be honest, now that I think about it, I don't know what I use to buy stuff. I have no idea. Like, it's word of mouth, number one, for
Yeah,
sure.
it is.
If
Word of mouth is
if it's like consensus, oh my god, this game
For
is
sure.
amazing, like Horizon Zero
Yeah.
Dawn and like Zelda, man. So like Horizon Zero Dawn, I was like, okay, this is the game I need to buy. I'm not gonna read any reviews. I don't need it. Consensus, everybody
Right.
love it. If I don't love it, I'm like minority, right?
Right.
So, but one thing though, like sites with Kotaku and stuff like that, I do kinda use them when the link is convenient for me to click. Like if it's on Reddit where there's like a bunch of different
Right.
links, right? I do use them for previews,
Yeah.
not really reviews. More like first impressions or previews. Like they go to E3, then they like talk to the devs or something.
Yes, I do. I do that more often, I think, as well, actually.
So
I
yeah.
personally, I do use reviews as a purchasing decision, sort of. So like usually, there's actually three. I don't go to the written sites anymore, just because I'm usually like Sarah, I'm usually in a crunch, so I go for the quickest thing. So usually I look at IGN and GameSpot reviews, because their reviews are really short. They're like 2 or 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
I think the longest they go is like 5 minutes, so it's pretty quick. And most of the time when I'm watching their video reviews, I'm barely listening. I'm just watching the gameplay that they're showing, because they show a lot of gameplay. So that, more than anything, watching the gameplay helps me make a decision. Then there's this other guy that I watch, and if you don't mind me plugging another YouTuber for it's ACG. I think it stands
Angry
for
Centaur Gaming.
Angry Centaur Gaming. He does some really great reviews. They tend to be 15, 20 minutes long,
Yeah,
something
they're pretty
like
long,
that.
yeah.
But he goes pretty in depth, but not in a long, drawn out way. Like it's scripted and it's done well. So he has lately been my go-to to kind of view stuff. But often I'll go look at a review after I've already played a game, just to kind of see if my impressions jive with
And
theirs.
if they don't agree with me, I'll just ask them to kill themselves, because that's the thing that gamers like to do.
Shark!
but going to the, because I sense what you're gonna come up with next is like, is that a right thing? Oops, I'm punching my mic over here. So Bethesda, I know, has come under fire a lot for their
Their review policy,
video review
which
policy.
they only give like the keys one day before launch. So the argument is, reviewers will rush through the game because they want to rush to get that first week clicks and views, which is a legitimate thing to say. It's a legit point, right? Because I've done that before. I've rushed through games because I want to play something else, or I want to just get this over with, or I want to rush because of clicks or whatever. And I do notice that I enjoy those games less.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
it's a
think
legit point to
like my feeling is that on that is I see the one day before launch thing as pretty pointless. Like, do one or the other. Either release it way ahead of time, give them time to play it, or don't give out any reviews. Just do it after, because I don't think.
I see.
And people may hate me for this, but I don't think that a game company owes reviews to a customer. So if I create a new Doom game, I don't owe the people that are going to buy it a review. Now, I think I owe them teasers and trailers, well done trailers and stuff like that, enough to make some kind of decision, but not necessarily that, oh, I have to give out these review copies to review. Now, that's a good thing. I think it's, companies should give out reviews, but I don't think it necessarily needs to be a requirement. And if a company comes out and says, no, we do not give out review copies, you get it, you get it the same as everybody else after launch, I'm okay with that if it's a across the board policy. Now, if they start waffling on that and they give it to some reviewers and not others, then it starts getting kind of like thing. But I think the one day before release only hurts them. Because like you said, people are going to rush through the game. I think that might have happened with Nier. Remember what I said? Like, one guy played through like one thing and then wrote a review and then kind of didn't know that there's like, 75% more of the game still left to go through. You can come into situations like that and you don't really get a fair review. And, I don't really put the blame on that necessarily on the publisher. So Bethesda releases, gives the key to a reviewer one day before release. Now, I don't think that's great, but it is still that reviewer's decision to rush through the game to get it through first. Now,
I'll be okay if
examples of game journalists who've been called out because they played the game through in a hurry on easy because it's the easiest and quickest to do,
right?
And the game had a different ending based off the difficulty.
Oh,
so they got an ending on the easy and they reviewed it for being weird.
What game is that?
No, the true ending. There's multiple games.
Oh, there's a lot of games.
Happened.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the old Nintendo games.
Customer. If let's say I'm not a very good gamer and I want to play it on easy, now I'm getting a different ending.
A lot of the old Nintendo games did that. You wouldn't even get the ending if you played on easy on a lot of Nintendo games. I can't name one right now. I'm sorry, but I know for a fact there was a lot of Nintendo games that I played on easy, and then you get to the end and it's like, you got to the end, congratulations, but to get the real ending, play it on normal. And it's like, but usually it's usually a good enough game that you want to do that. But I don't think that's a big thing.
I'm not a huge fan, but it happens.
The thing is, because the argument is anti-consumer, right? What Bethesda is doing. But the thing is, if Bethesda is gonna do this, I wish all the publishers do this. I think it looks worse right now because Bethesda is the only one doing it.
Exactly. It's suspicious, right? It makes me suspicious. It's like, why don't you release it ahead of time? Because I think Eddie's
the less information I get.
Yeah, I think Eddie's point about like they either need to do one or the other. They can't try to muddle this. I think is actually a really good point because if they just did across the board like, no, we don't do review copies. Yeah, I guess I could be suspicious, but at the same time, it is a very across the board decision. It may not just. It could be for a number of reasons.
Yeah, and it's clear cut.
It's clear cut.
Right.
It's like, no, we only do this. Like, maybe they just don't want to. Maybe they're one of those companies that really are big on the spoiler issue. Some companies really are. Whether you agree with it or not, that's their stance on things. But when you do it middle way, where it's like one day in advance, I'm going to be suspicious. I'm going to think like, oh, why couldn't you do it in advance? Why does it have to be one day? Like, what's the difference? What's going on here? It's just, it makes you look suspicious. No, you don't owe it to me. But I'm going to be suspicious as a consumer.
And the reason was also really dumb because they say they want everybody to play at the same time for parity, which is not really... Why?
Then don't do the day thing either.
Right.
And
I kind of believe Bethesda about that because I know they're pretty big about story and all that, but it's just the one day in advance is just weird.
It is weird.
it's just a weird thing because you don't want to avoid spoilers, but you're putting it one day in advance. There's gonna be some spoilers, so I don't know.
Some person out there is going to have enough time that's going to find a way to do it in 24 hours, guaranteed. I mean, someone's going to find a way.
Because previously, reviewers get early copies and maybe, say, not YouTubers or streamers because... Or even if they do, they have, like, the embargo, right?
Yes.
You can't release the review 5 weeks or 5 days before the thing comes out. You have to release maybe a couple of days before, maybe on the day itself, and... So the spoiler thing also don't really make sense because professional reviews don't really spoil anything.
Yeah.
The embargoes is another one that I have a little bit issues with because and I'm sure you guys too, because I get Steam keys all the time from different smaller publishers. This is the one that really gets me, is like you get these smaller publishers, might be their first game or they're unknown or whatever, and they're like, yeah, we got an embargo, don't show this, my question is always the same. It's like, well, how far to final is this build that you're giving me? Is it just like still beta, or like, no, it's final, it's just we just not ready for launch yet? It's like, well, if you're a small company, you're unknown, you kind of want any little publicity you can get. Obviously, yes, you want to show your best light, so so I'm sensitive to that. So like that's why I always ask, is like, well, is this an early build? Is it like missing features, or is it too buggy? But it's like in a lot of cases they say, no, it's the final build, we just don't want you to show it yet. And I'm like, well,
embargoes is a thing for a reason though. You get, let's say I'm a publisher, I give the Prey keys 10 days in advance. I want them to only release the reviews 1 day before launch, so they have 9 days to play it. I don't want them to try to rush it 24 hours and then release the review. That's the point of an embargo though.
Yeah, I could see that.
I guess the smaller publishers, they're just trying to emulate that, I guess.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't really have issue with embargoes. It's just sometimes they seem like they're in place for no real good reason, other than, like you said, that it seems like it's tradition.
If I have to sign an NDA, I'm usually not interested anymore.
Yeah.
Like, unless I'm personally interested in the game just for me playing it. Like, as I know about this game beforehand, I've been following it, and I want to play it early, that's not a problem. But if you contact me with a game I've never heard about, like an NDA is kind of like an instant deal breaker for me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I won't go into it, but I had a story about that, but I'll tell you that privately. But, the thing is that word of mouth, like we mentioned before, is so powerful. Look at, PlayerUnknown's Battleground has been mostly word of mouth. Now, also Twitch streamers, which is huge, but they've spent very little on marketing. The marketing has pretty much been very minimal. It's just been, Twitch streamers and things like that, and they recognize
the cost of free Steam keys is.
Yeah, they recognize the value of that, of just getting that out and early. Same thing with Darkest Dungeon way back. I mean, God, what is it? It's like 3 years ago now. And it's hard to imagine that game almost didn't see the light of day. But it was mainly through. That's how I heard about it. I heard about Darkest Dungeon because some guy, a friend of mine, said, out of the blue, "Hey, did you see this? The trailer for this, this Kickstarter?" And I jumped in it and I backed it and all that, and pretty glad that I did. But it was a game that really grew out of word of mouth. Now it was a Kickstarter, so the Kickstarter is kind of its own marketing engine there. But I think a lot more companies, especially some of the more traditional Japanese companies, should recognize how much value there is to YouTubers and streamers. Yes. Even the smallest one, even the ones that don't have huge audiences, there's an inherent value to just having someone playing your game and playing it publicly.
It's like a kernel for a community to grow on.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought up this Prey thing because Kotaku wrote an article about it, and actually it just got me thinking of the value of a review. Like, do people actually still use it? And is it mostly YouTubers and streamers now that kind of shape purchasing decisions nowadays?
Yeah.
Because video games are a very visual medium, right? You want to see the game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's this podcast I listen to where they do movie reviews, and one section of it is they did their own reviews, and they have a section called Second Opinions, where they go and read Amazon reviews, because they almost exclusively do bad movies. So they go to the Amazon page and they read all the 5-star reviews for these movies, and some of them it's like reading something written by somebody who's like actively having a stroke. Who's like, this movie was okay. Sure, it had its downsides, but the action was good. 5 stars. It's like, you just described something that's clearly not 5 stars. What are you doing?
It's a participation award. It's fine.
Participation award.
perfect score, 3 out of 5 stars. You know, like, God dang it.
This is the best movie. Yeah, those are the ones that get me. This is the best movie I've ever seen. 3 stars out of 5.
Right.
Okay, so it's not the best movie you've ever seen.
Apparently.
So, talking about Prey and reviews, there was a review by IGN on Prey, especially for Prey the PC version, that got people kind of riled up. Not because of, hey, I like this game, why don't you like it kind of style. So IGN gave Prey a 4 out of 10. Hello, Pupunoob from the podcast here. Just wanted to send a little message. So right after recording the podcast, we found out that IGN changed their review scores for Prey from a 4 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10. So yeah, because apparently Bethesda or Arcane patched the bugs out and they re-reviewed it and updated the score. So yeah, just a little update. So back to the show, and that's really low, especially for
really
IGN.
Yes.
As well as Prey, because Prey has been averaging about 8 out of 10s mostly.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the reason why they got riled up is because of the reason why he gave it 4 out of 10. And it's not because he didn't like the game. It's because Dan Stapleton, the reviewer, experienced a game-breaking bug. His save games after 30-plus-ish hours got corrupted. He asked the publisher for help. The publisher provided him with a save game near where he kind of stopped. A few hours after that also got corrupted. So it really painted a very bad impression. So he gave it a 4 out of 10. So people like discussing, because apparently it's very rare. He's like the only one among the reviewers, I guess, that got it. I'm not sure about actual people playing the game, like just consumers. So I thought that was really interesting. So I mean, if I were him, I would be pissed. Losing 30 plus hours of progress, I'm like, fuck you, 1 of 10. But because he's doing it in a professional capacity, I'm not sure. I'm like,
that's what I was gonna hit on. Be a professional about it. If you're gonna do a review and you come across some kind of game breaking bugs or glitches or whatever, I think as a professional you should do some research and find out, are other people, is this a common issue? Is it more people are doing it, or is it an isolated incident? And that's just fact finding. That's just something, a basic thing that most journalists should be doing. And, and I get, probably being pissed off after spending all that much time doing it. But, if you're getting paid to do this, which I think they are, then you're just doing your job.
Dan Stapleton is like the editor-in-chief or something.
Okay.
He's like really high up there as well.
You're doing your job. So I agree with that that's kind of a pissy reason to give it a low score because you had this one game breaking bug. But, I would expect, like, if I was reading that, then I want to see in that article, I want to see, how prevalent is this bug? Is this, a big issue? Is this an issue that if I buy this game, I'm likely to encounter, or it's not very likely at all? Kind of with Nier, a lot of people were experiencing issues. I was hesitant to get it, but I was pretty much dead set on getting that game anyway, so I got it anyway, and I didn't experience any issues really. I have had one crash happen in the game, and I don't fault the game. That could have been anything, especially on PC, nobody's computer, two computers are exactly the same usually, so it could be any little thing that causes, a random crash. Now there have been, I have had Let's Play series that I have started and canceled because of glitches and bugs and stuff like that, that kept happening. But that's because they kept happening over and over, and there didn't seem to be any fixes in sight. So it's like, I'm just not gonna deal with having to piece together all these broken pieces of recording. So it's just like, forget it. I'd rather just move on to something that works.
I also, because it also highlighted the quote unquote importance of video game scores. Like, I don't mind scores. I just don't mind it. But they put a lot of weight to it because Metacritic and, there's been a lot of statements out there of publishers actually using Metacritic score to determine whether the developers get a bonus or not, which is really fucked.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
So
That's a...
Was that EA? Who was that?
I don't even remember. Probably all of them. I'm not even.
Yeah, okay.
So it's just if it's a game that I don't know, like Fallout 4 got a lot of good reviews, I'm pretty sure that game was buggy as hell.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I can understand his frustration though, getting like 30 hours into the game and then like just breaking, and maybe
It is
this
understandable.
maybe this one score out of the entire vast sea of really 8 out of 10s, this 4 out of 10 maybe would have highlighted it to more people.
But that's just it. If he's gonna bring up that issue, then I think, and maybe he did in the article. I don't know. I didn't read the article, but I know as a reader, I want to see in that article it talk about how prevalent is that issue. Was it just you, or or was it is it something going across the board? Because your review is going to have an impact on people. So,
At the end of the day, you can only review off of your own experience, but you should do some research to add some context to it.
Well, that's the whole
Again,
thing with reviews in general. They need to have that objectivity and subjectivity, because it is a very subjective experience. All video games are. But if you're an official reporter, I expect you to have a little bit of a, because that's why I said it's part of the reason I sometimes do look at Steam reviews, because I can see immediately the subjectivity, and so I can tell the frame of reference. While with professional reviews, it's sometimes a little harder, which it's kind of supposed to be. They're supposed to be more objective with the subjective, and so if it's only it's a mess.
Yeah, it's like
The
what I was
thing
saying
is,
before, the professionalism.
Yeah, the
Yes,
thing is,
exactly.
the review did provide context. If you read the review and not
Right,
just
but-
look at the score, right?
Yeah, but most people
So-
don't.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I don't know.
but then that doesn't make sense to if again, because you said it was a very rare bug.
Yeah.
I just don't see that how it should bring out the score that much. But I guess like because you can say a review is my personal
subjective.
opinion on the game.
Yeah.
But I hold, so Joe Schmo doing a YouTube review from his home.
Yep.
He's just saying, hey, this is what I thought about the game. I don't value it more or less, but I would admit that I would hold them to a lower standard than someone that is a paid, reporter for for a company, for
The editor-in-chief of IGN.
and then he's the editor-in-chief. So I hold him to a higher standard because
Yes.
he is putting himself across as a professional. So I expect the utmost professionalism.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah. I get it. I do. I agree.
Oh well.
At the same time, haters gonna hate.
So yeah.
He probably didn't like Mass Effect Andromeda either.
Probably not. But, I don't like it.
Okay, I'm done. No more news.
I got nothing.
You guys wanna wrap up?
I think we're good for wrapping up.
Cool. So yeah. That's
Good stuff.
is
We
the
talk about movies, games, everything.
is the that time of the podcast again.
Gosh, do I have to start?
So
I thought I was gonna do Sarah. and
okay,
then
so
Sarah can do-
Foehamner, where can people find Sarah?
Sarah is Sarahscopic.
Hi.
Look at my spelling. SARAC.
SARAH.
Oh god dang it. SARAH.
Okay, this just proves that it's hard to spell. Maybe you should change your name.
My name in
Scopic.
general is really a tongue twister.
COPIC.
There you go.
So
Sarah?
SARAHSCOPIC. She's on YouTube. She's on Facebook. She's on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
Where else? Instagram? What else?
No,
I don't know.
that's it, that's
those
it.
three. Those three big ones. So check her out. She does pseudo vlog type things in her car of traffic musings. She does let's plays. She does cooperative let's plays. She's got everything. You'll laugh. You'll cry. You'll kiss $3 goodbye.
Wait, is that going to me? If you kiss $3 goodbye, make sure to go to me, not anybody else.
You can find Foehamner at all those places as well. It's a Foehamner, not Foehammer, because Google is like that. If you try to search for Foehamner, they will ask you, did you actually mean Foehammer? So it's Foehamner. It's a hammer made out of ham, which is way better than Foehammer, okay? So yes, you can find him at all those places as well.
You can find Char under Pupunoob, Pupunoob. It's like pew pew noob. It's clever. I like it. You can also you can find him on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitter under that handle. If you're watching this, then you're already on his channel. So if you want to watch this stuff, you gotta subscribe to him. But you should check out his stuff too, because he does reviews and he does comments on things, and he also does Let's Plays, and they're pretty great. So yeah.
So yeah, we didn't do Eddie because we're not sure.
Yeah, Eddie, where do we find you?
Where can
You're
we
the
find
most qualified.
you?
Zero Budget Geek. You can find me primarily on YouTube, the YouTube channel. There is Twitter, Facebook, also all under Zero Budget Geek. I'm also on vid.me. And vid.me is actually potential YouTube contender. Basically, I've just been porting my videos over to there. And also a really cool site that I found called player.me. So player me.
Yes.
It is essentially Facebook for gamers. It's really cool because
gamers.
you can link your pretty much all your social media
channel,
and your
right?
YouTube channel, your Twitch, and every time you put a video or you stream, it automatically updates everybody and lets them know. So it's kind of cool. It's pretty neat. I've met a few people on there, and it's a lot of fun. So most of the social media zero budget geek as it's spelled. Also Pinterest for some reason.
I like it.
So yes.
Yeah.
But it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yes,
thank you
for joining us.
Nice talking to you.
Yes. This has been the playonultra podcast, episode 98. So close. 2 more, people. 2 more. So, but this is the last episode that you will see Sarah.
Yep.
She is going away forever.
Not forever, just for like 4 weeks.
So yes,
that's
a few
forever
weeks.
in YouTube land.
It's true.
So yes, thank you very much for watching, listening, subscribe, and all that good things.
Yeah.
Yes. See you next week. Bye bye.
Bye.